So I will unmute sekarang ni I mute. Boleh dengar okay. So sekarang I mute dengan stop cam dulu. So bila sampai my turn baru I buka balik lah. Betul?
Entirely up to you. You can stay there if you want.
Okay.
You can mute. You don't have to stop cam.
So sekarang I mute dengan stop cam dulu. Kita sampai turn baru I buka balik lah. Betul?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, dia delay. Aku rasa baik kau tak payahlah. Nanti
Okey, Captain, kita
Aku rasa baik kau tak payahlah.
semua, okey. Kita dah live sekarang. Bagi yang tak bercakap, kalau boleh mutekan mic sebab kita tak nak ada gangguan audio lah. Okey. Captain boleh dengar suara saya, Captain?
Ya.
Captain boleh dengar suara saya?
Boleh dengar.
Boleh ya? Okey. Kita dah live sekarang ni. Sekarang ni ada 43 orang dalam ni ya. Sekejap ya. Okey, Captain, boleh kita mulakan?
Okey. Baik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. Welcome to your mock interview and resume punya review session. Okay, after what we've done last month. So sekarang ni kita akan buat review. We were supposed to do this the night after the interview, tapi mengandalkan PKPB maka kita terpaksa buat online today. Okay, there will be presenters other than myself. I will show you my slide. So for today's program, this morning we're going to start off with this briefing and then followed by observations made during the interview session lah, that will be handled by Puan Aina. 11 o'clock, I will touch on your resume and also how to write a proper resume. By 11:30 a.m., we will do a personal statement writing. Okay, plus review of your personal statement, and I'll give you also a sample of a personal statement that was written by a Kijang Mas scholar. Okay, and then at 12:30 we'll have the question and answer session. Then by 1 o'clock we are going to end this session. Okay, so for this next session, comments on the interview session, I will pass over to Puan Aina to present the comments on the interview session that we've done early this month. Over to you, Puan Aina.
Okay, share screen.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Boleh dengar ke?
Boleh.
Okay, So Alhamdulillah, we've done the session on last month. Okay. So I'm sure the other panels pun ada their feedback. Okay. So since we don't have much time, sambil saya komen on the interview session, saya akan bagi briefing on the interview experience and assessment guide. Boleh nampak ke screen? Boleh nampak PowerPoint tak dekat screen?
Yes, nampak.
Okay. So on the 6th and 7th of November, we had the mock interview session. We found that memang all the students very raw lah kan, memang inexperienced, biasalah baru 17 kan. And not only the content, tetapi the presentation of yourselves and a lot of other things need to be improved. Okay, so we go generally by this interview experience and assessment guide, yeah. All right. Okay, the objective of this briefing is for you to have exposure or guide on how to face assessment and interviews. Ada banyak masa yang kita kena assessment dan interview ni bukan saja untuk dapatkan beasiswa, tetapi juga other reasons. For example, lepas SPM, kot-kot lah nak cari part-time job ke, ataupun some people maybe for a certain reason they terus pergi on full-time job ke, atau ada any special program that the government offer that you all want to apply before result SPM keluar ke, for example, pun you all need this interview guide. Okay, and of course scholarship, study loan and entrance into universities. Okay, sebab certain university or certain courses ada interview. Okay, maybe kita minta through UPU, kita fikir terus shortlisted. No, some courses macam animation, they have to be interviewed and they have to bring their products. Okay, so that's the objective of you all to learn this. Okay, next. Okay, we understand that 2020 has been a very, very challenging year because of the pandemic. So it does not only resulting in MCO, but all the economic challenges and other social challenges we have to face. So some people bila duduk dekat rumah sempit, then ada social issues. Some people they get out of job, then ada economic issues. Okay, so you all are about to begin your leadership journey. Sebab lepas SPM, you all will be interviewed, dapat atau tak dapat scholarship, and you all akan go ahead, okay, to further your studies. But maybe some of you all have started your leadership journey from primary, dari primary school maybe dah jadi ketua pengawas, bila masuk sekolah menengah pula mungkin jadi ketua umum pula kan. Tapi some people they will only shine after their SPM. So kita ambil lah sekarang ni is the starting point of your leadership journey. Okay, if you all feel it's very, very challenging, sekejap tukar-tukar date exam SPM, you all look at this slide. I hope it's clear because I mampatkan, condenskan 3 stories in this slide. Okay, this is 2017, 2019 and 2020 punya news, which means they are SPM candidates for the previous year. So kalau you all students the form 5, diorang panggil form 5 tahun ni apa, Pro Max ke apa entah, okay, yang rasa memang wah sangat-sangat macam roller coaster sekejap okay on, sekejap SPM postpone lagi. You see these people punya success stories despite adversity. Okay, yang pelajar perempuan cemerlang SPM ni, if you all, I would not tell the details, you all can Google the stories. This girl, her name is Farah. Farah ni mak dia ibu tunggal dan sebenarnya dia merempat, dia tak ada tempat tinggal pun, tidur dekat pusat snooker je. Dalam the newspaper article you can see how they sleep, how their place is sangat orang kata sangat daif lah. And bila the teacher notice about this girl, teacher tu ambil dia and she actually did preparation for 2 months. Ni kisah ni tak silap saya di Johor Dan despite 2 months preparation and dalam keadaan yang sangat-sangat daif tu, dia dapat 6 A's kan. Budak kolek tak adalah target 6 A's, tapi nak cakapnya ni pelajar-pelajar cemerlang MCKK ni kan, if you all feel that it's very challenging, remember other people are in a more challenged situation. So she managed to get 6 A's, dia ambil 8 subjek saja, another 2 tak A lah. So this is the second one, candidate 2018. Dia ni pelajar sekolah menengah sains Sultan Ahmad Shah. Ni pun pelajar yang sangat miskin. He wants to be a neurologist dan dia dapat 10 A semasa SPM. Sampai masa tu Menteri Pendidikan kita YB Mazli Malik send a team of UIA staff untuk offer dia direct pergi ke rumah dia because of dia punya excellence despite sangat-sangat miskin. And if you all see the most right, this is the most recent SPM candidate lah tahun 2019. This Nur Firdaus dapat 11 A+ and he is the best student for Kelantan. So Kelantan best student ni bukan dari SBP, dia dari Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Kamil. Kita pun tak pernah dengar nama sekolah tu. Sekolah ni ditubuhkan daripada 1954 dan tak pernah ada orang dapat straight A+ pun. And this guy managed to get 11 A+ while taking care of dia punya mother, his mother who had been sick with mysterious disease. Tak tahu sakit apa, and his father had passed away 2 years ago. Dia anak yatim je. So there is no prasarana, facilities, tuition atau apa-apa pun. But despite that, dia boleh dapat 11 A+. So you all can ask yourself, sebenarnya apa yang menghalang you all untuk berjaya? What is stopping you from, being successful, from getting the straight A's? Okay, because you all have all the things that, the privileges that other people don't have. Okay, bukanlah kita kata satu sekolah tu boleh dapat pun kan, tapi nak cakapnya you all must really do your best, stretch yourself. Okay, this is the reality. So I tengah-tengah ni, Madam, I address myself Madam Aina. Madam tulis reality check. Okay, scholarship opportunity is actually very scarce compared to excellence. Orang yang pandai, orang yang bijak ni ramai. Okay, you all can see here, more score straight A's in SPM this year compared to previous year. Okay, ini adalah berita 5 Mac 2020. This is the Ketua Pengarah Pelajaran. Kita punya peningkatan dari 2.15% to 2.28% of the whole of SPM candidates mendapat straight A's. Tak silap saya 8,700 lebih straight A's. Dan peluang scholarship sebenarnya maybe dalam 1,000 lebih. Ambil satu contoh lah, the best school. Di Sekolah Tun Fatimah, di STF sahaja ada 100 pelajar straight A's. Okay, tak silap saya Sekolah Alam Shah yang Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, Prime Minister baru je beberapa hari jadi Prime Minister masa tu buat surprise pergi bagi result kepada the straight A students tu. Situ pun ramai, I can't remember it's 39 ke 40 something ke dapat dia third placing lah dalam kalangan ranking SBP. Tapi you looking at SBP, sekolah harian biasa dan KYS sekolah lain, memang ramai orang. So apa yang akan facilitate you all to get the scholarship? Okay, satu is your character, your confidence. So this is what we are helping, so that ada sedikit guideline sebelum you all menempuh proses pemilihan atau proses screening to actually grab the scholarship opportunity. Okay, I hope clear setakat ni. Okay, semua Cikgu Khairul okay?
Okay, so far okay semua? Okay.
Alright, okay. Sebab saya nampak slide je, tak nampak yang lain-lain. So I just want to make sure. Okay, fine. Okay, now kita kena faham konsep talent most wanted. Kalau kita ada lagu hari tu kan, Rembau Most Wanted kan, okay, talent most wanted. Orang berebut-rebut, people, organizations out there, they are actually fighting for the top talents. Okay, tapi to identify the talent most wanted ni ada banyak cara. But the concept that I want you all students to understand is that ada certain things yang menjadi penentu. Okay, first and foremost is of course rezeki, because we've seen people that we would not think would get straight A's or would get scholarship, but they are there. So always pray, solat, doa, itu very very important throughout your life, and then you can be assured that you've done your best, you dah doa, whatever you get tu itulah yang terbaik. And then remember, academic achievement is top priority. What saya dan Puan Jasmine discovered during our mock interview session with you all, saya dan Puan Jasmine di panel 5, there are some very very talented students yang boleh mengupas, analyse and boleh answer us very well. Unfortunately, because of your result is not very encouraging, that might sort of minimize your opportunity ataupun lower the percentage or possibility of you getting to be screened. Not to be interviewed, to be screened pun masa tu mungkin dah drop. That's why saya tulis di sini, madam tulis di sini, academic achievement top priority, because when they select their potential scholars, they will have a minimum requirement already. For example, Petronas may advertise minimum 8 A's. So kalau you have 8 A's and one not A lah, for example, bio or at maths, and then you ask for the scholarship yang tak perlukan that particular subject, then the possibility is there for you to be shortlisted. Saya bagi example yang lebih jelas. Okay, somebody applies for social program ke Jepun. Okay, this is a real life story. She's an SJS student, Sekolah Menengah Sains Tuanku Aisyah Rohani, Science Girls School di Seremban, dulu bangunan TKC tu. She got 8 A's and 1 B+. B+ je at maths. Okay, tapi bila dia apply social program JPA Mara, scholarship JPA Mara ke Jepun, they all memang nak minimum 8 A. So they all tak tengok dah subjek tu. But if you ask for engineering but tak dapat A for at maths, tak boleh lah. Okay, so academic achievement ni is the combination and also the numbers of A and the qualities of A that you have. Quality of A ni ialah certain organizations macam Yayasan Khazanah Bank Negara, they only look at A+ and A. Okay, memang tak pandang lah kalau A- tu. Okay, other attributes of course will make a difference. For example, you punya penglibatan dalam persatuan, padan beruniform, and income group status. This is also very very important. So if you're very very excellent, certain organisation bila tengok income group parents tu dalam bracket 50,000 sebulan ke, for example, then you may not qualify pun, not because you are not excellent, but because they have limited number of scholarships. They will have to prioritize those who are more unfortunate ataupun those who would need more help on the financial untuk further studies. Okay, I hope I don't go too fast. Bila bercakap tak nampak muka orang ni macam lain sikit rasanya. This is my first experience speaking in a briefing, just looking at my slides. So I hope the message sampailah kepada murid-murid tingkatan 5 ni. Okay, there are a lot of selection methodology or approaches that the organisation take whether to recruit people or to give study loan or to give scholarship. Okay, so as I have said just now, there is a current basic requirement, for example, kena berapa A dan sebagainya. Okay, and then there is two types yang so far from my experience, either online or manual application. Manual application so far, last 2 years, I only see from PNB, Pemodalan Nasional Berhad, but others are all online. Okay, and then essay writing, presentation is normal. Essay writing, memang most organizations will ask for this. Okay, some organizations ask for 2 essays, for example, Bank Negara, Shell, I'm not sure, Yayasan Khazanah also. Some organization ask for 500 words, ada yang ask for 1000 words. So you all please listen carefully bila Captain Rahmat and other team members bagi briefing on personal statement ke resume ke, because that makes a difference bila ada writing during the first screening process. Okay, then fitness test, ada certain organizations or sponsors maybe dia nak check juga on fitness. This is also for talent most wanted punya acquisition, talent acquisition process. Macam PTD, you have to lari 7 km ke apa, you know, that kind of thing. And then online or written test, this is also very, very common. IQ, aptitude, attitude, maths, English, general knowledge, psychological test, MARA confirm ada, JPA confirm ada. And sometimes you even have to do maths. What I have seen through a candidate who went through Shell punya online test, memang ada IQ test and maths test and English test. And they have to answer like a set of questions just within 5 minutes. Alright, okay, assessment program ni sometimes ada company yang skip, tapi macam MARA last time they did it, JPA also. This assessment program, you will be gathered in a group, then you will have assignments to do sampai ke peringkat kena berlakon ke kena menyanyi ke. Okay, this is the assessment program. I will guide you all through with real examples later with real scholars. Okay, sometimes ada individual interview, but sometimes group interview. Okay, this year because of the pandemic, most of the organizations cannot conduct interviews secara live. Okay, not physically berdepan, not face to face. So JPA, for example, JPA scholarship, they did group interview. One group consisting of 5 candidates. Okay, so jawab macam tu, I think they pakai Google Meet, something like that. So they will give questions and they will discuss the answers. Okay, and then they will go from individual to individual, but in a group. Sometimes you will get case study. Okay, bila dapat case study ni, dia akan tengok how you all analyse and how you all derive, buat problem solving, who is leading, who is the passenger dan sebagainya. Then sometimes you all will have individual or group presentations, either public speaking biasa without slides or with slides. Role play macam saya dah cerita tadi, they will give you a satu script ataupun satu scenario, then you all have to act on it. Video recording, ni pun saya akan terangkan nanti. And even ada house visit juga. Okay, this one pun happened last 2 years, SPM candidate 2017. Because certain organizations are so particular, they go to the house to make sure that okay, this person memang duduk di alamat ni, and this is the living condition of the candidate, then baru they all award the scholarship. Okay, and last is medical checkup. Even after you have passed all the assessment and have been offered, you all will have to go through a medical checkup test. If you all, na'udzubillah min zalik, you fail the test or whatever that the doctors find, then maybe tak dapat juga sama ada pekerjaan tu ataupun biasiswa tu dan peluang tu lah. Okay, So these are all the criteria that matters in screening and selection. Okay. Ni I think it will be very blur from you all. This is actually Bank Negara dengan Yayasan Khazanah punya assessment process and criteria of a good candidate. Saya baca di sini ya. This one I got it during Sekolah Tuan Fatimah punya ke Carnival Kerjaya. Okay. In 2017, I was part of the team member involved, but I was doing the mock interview part. Okay, the top by Bank Negara and Yayasan Khazanah was given by Sri Kandi, kita punya alumni lah. Okay, confidence, able to connect the dots, sensitive to surroundings, strive for the best, EQ, leadership, teamwork. Ni adalah good candidate criteria yang Bank Negara cari. Okay, then the assessment process ni is Yayasan Khazanah. Okay, so you all find out from seniors, find out from friends yang may have brothers or sisters who have obtained scholarships from these top organizations, and boleh Google juga and tanya how the process was conducted. So at least you all be more prepared. Okay, so now we go to the interesting part. Okay, I rasa I don't need to take a break. Okay, these are the SPM 2017 candidates. Okay, untuk SPM 2018 maknanya yang kemudian punya tu I don't have the information. Like these slides were used last year 2019 during briefing the SGS. Okay, so for the following year, especially this year online dan sebagainya, we don't have this kind of stage 1, stage 2 or stage 3. Okay, so you all must be prepared for both either physical or online punya screening process. Okay, ini untuk program penajaan nasional. For the past few years, this is how they conduct it lah, how they do it. So it won't go far lah if they all tukar sikit pun, it's just a bit here and there to suit the current situation. Okay, mula-mula apply online, take personality test also online. So from there, they will be shortlisted. Of course, as I said, academic achievement is top priority here. The income status of the parents also, and the other attributes, there will be scoring on all that. So if the score memang tak lepas yang minimum requirement, you will immediately be dropped off from the screening process. Okay, so then the next level is the interview session. Okay, and one day only. Okay, they will assign to group, quarantine until their turn. Then they have two types of assessment. One is formal group interview. Okay, personal, general knowledge, factual, argumentative. So these have been derived or have been shared by Nazmi. Nazmi is currently in UK. He flew last September. Madam ada pergi airport masa dia fly ni. Okay, he's under Petronas scholarship, tapi he actually got more than one scholarship lah, with 10A plus and 1A his result. He was from SBPI Rawang, and with Petronas scholarship he went to do A levels for, he did electrical engineering later di KYUAM. And they have casual evaluation session also, games and real life problem solving situation. Okay, this is Alia. Alia was from MRSM Tunggafa Baba, 8A plus, 2A minus. She managed to secure PNB scholarship. PNB scholarship ni bukan senang nak dapat. Ada lebih kurang 20 orang scholar di situ, di KYUM, College Yayasan UEM di Lembah Beringin. Okay, the first stage apply manually. Prerequisite English GCA 1A. So this one very specific PNB letak. So English GCA ni 119 lah kalau masa time madam dulu. Memang kena score. And then the second stage, around 1,000 candidates were shortlisted. They have to do written test, maths, English, IQ. And then the third stage, lebih kurang dalam 1/3, 300 candidates went for group interview, formal and general questions, 5 person per group. Okay, and stage 4, daripada 300 candidate, only 10% were selected to the fourth stage, and these 30 candidates had to do case study and group presentation. And then they have personality tests to see or to gauge if they are suitable to the PNB culture. Okay. Okay, so Alia has also flown to UK, to the UKs. Okay, this is Al-Hafiz. Al-Hafiz because dia memang hafal Quran 30 juzuk dari Kelantan. He was there, I can't remember what is the school, YIK if I'm not mistaken, and he went to Permata Pintar when he was Form 4. He got 8A plus 3A in his SPM and went for ADP, American Degree Program, that's foundation to go to the States at Taylor's College under Petronas Scholarship. Okay, so he did foundation for computer science. Okay, so you can see here it's a lot of information on the screen. For Petronas Education Sponsorship Program PESP, last 2 years, okay, in 2018, cara dia apply online, shortlisted candidates will be called for PYD, which is Petronas Youngsters Day. And then during that day, they do shortlisting in the morning via online Cambridge personality test, thinking skills assessment. Memang maths and English is always the favorite for the organizations to test you on. Okay, so the successful candidates will proceed to the next phase which is in the afternoon. Next phase tu is after lunch. Okay, so sedih lah. Macam AF pula kan, okay balik lah kalau yang tak dapat tu. So the third stage, but I don't have the exact numbers of people, but I know Petronas is one of the organisation which offer a lot of scholarships. The scholars are around 200 to 300 per year, okay, the batch. So selain daripada overseas, they are also sent to UTP kat Toronto, University Technology Petronas. Although the chance is higher compared to Kazana ataupun perhaps PNB, but ramai memang, even budak-budak MCKK pun, when we interviewed saya punya panel lah, saya dengan Puan Jasmine, a lot of students answer they are targeting for Petronas scholarship. Unfortunately, a lot of you also are not very prepared on what Petronas is all about. What do they actually do? And you know, the role of Petronas in our country. Because Petronas is the main revenue provider actually for our country. Okay, we go to the stage 3, it's the afternoon session. Okay, interview session focusing on leadership and interpersonal skill. So ini pun in group of 6 to 8 students, which will be given case study and an hour for discussion. Okay, in the interview room, each participant need to give their personal opinion on the issue, and they are also required in a team to prepare proposal. Okay, so they need to propose idea to overcome problems. Okay, then results are out within several weeks. Okay, this is how they did it for Petronas. Okay, okay, this is Yayasan UEM scholarship. Okay, actually when you all finish your SPM, there will be a lot of sites which will give information on scholarships awarded or scholarships that you all can apply. But be careful, kena tengok itu scholarship untuk first degree ke untuk foundation, because lepas SPM usually you all akan ask for foundation kan. Okay, and mostly is for overseas university, because if you apply UPU, local U, then that is different, maybe ada allowance dan sebagainya, but pergi overseas is very very high the cost. Maybe one student is between 500,000 to 800,000 throughout their studies. So that is why, you know, people seek for scholarship and organizations offer scholarships to the talents most wanted. Okay, look at the UEM scholarship program. It's called USP. Okay, there's a bit of change because that year in 2018 was the election year. Kita ada PRU, pilihan raya umum. So the third stage tu nanti saya cerita ada sedikit perubahan. Okay, first stage apply online, and when you apply online you also have to, on top of filling the normal thing, your result, your activities, jawatan dan sebagainya, you also have to write 2 essays. This again is very important because if the essay is not engaging, if the essay is not reflective of your strength or of your worth, your worthiness, it's very difficult for you to be shortlisted. Okay, that's why, as I've said earlier, listen to Captain Rahmat and other team members who will actually tell you how to make a strong personal statement, so that when people read, people are interested in you and they will shortlist you and will call you to find out further what you can offer to the organisation. Okay, stage 1 dah apply, dah tulis essay semua ni. The shortlisted candidates, 160 of them, lebih kurang, were called for 2-step punya evaluation. The first step was ada English test, 20 questions, and maths, 10 questions. Only 10 questions. Walaupun hanya 10 soalan, tapi dah lama kan, dah lama tinggal maths tu berapa bulan. So when you are called for interview, selak balik buku maths tu. Jangan nanti lepas SPM hip-hip hooray dah tak tahu kat mana dah buku maths. No, don't do that. Okay, because a lot of organizations will force you to be confronted back with your maths. Okay, 10 questions, because UEM ni nama lagi UEM kan, United Engineers Malaysia, nak ambil orang jadi engineer kan. Okay, so second step is individual interview. It's just about 7-8 minutes. They ask very, very general questions. Actually, this is my eldest son. Okay, so the experience I relate here is firsthand. There was a lot of issues regarding PRU masa tu. So my son was the last for the afternoon session. Dah pukul 1:30 tengah hari pun. So the interviewers just asked, okay, jangan cakap pasal Tuan Mahathir bertanding balik, cakap pasal something else about the PRU, about the politik. Soalan tu tidaklah susah. Soalan tu bukannya kata tricky ke kebat sangat, but they just want to see your knowledge, your ability to respond quickly, because when you respond quickly, it shows that your CPU is very fast. Okay, boleh cepat pick up dan sebagainya. Okay, so that was how they ask, and then tak ada apa-apa soalan yang susah-susah sangat pun. So daripada 160 ni, 40 candidates were selected, maknanya only 25% went through the next stage. Another essay was required, also in English, and then they brought the essay to the group interview and they had to discuss lah what they wrote and what they think of a topic or of an issue. And then this one sepatutnya ada interview with the board members, but because there was a transition in power, sebab Malaysia government berubah, so UEM I guess was affected. The board members couldn't sit down together at one time. So what they did was they asked the finalists to do a video recording for 2 minutes for the board members to observe or to assess or to evaluate. So you just imagine the many types of approach that organizations use. Kalau kita tak biasa buat video recording, suddenly somebody letak kamera depan kita bukan pelakon kan. Then you only have 2 minutes. Dia akan bagi sign language, okay dah nak habis 2 minutes, then you have to wrap up. That's all. They just ask how the interviews experience, the UEM interview experience was conducted. Okay. This is Yayasan Saimdabi Excellent Scholarship Program 2018 punya details. Okay, this is Mikhail. He was previously di College Yayasan Saad, 10A+. This is just nak cerita, he actually earlier dapat 9A+, 1A. So while the mother appeal, they all lah appeal untuk check his English papers, but English memang selalu excellent, Hiran juga tak A+ kan. He missed a lot of opportunity. For example, JPA straight A+ punya opportunity, he missed it. Okay, because he was not a straight A+ student at that time. Bank Negara, Khazanah, a lot. But you will be destined what is the best for you. Kita sebagai orang Islam, we believe in that. Okay, so Mikhail ni last October dah fly ke UK, and for your own information, it's so difficult to get Saimdabi scholarship. Saimdabi during this batch only offered 2 places or 2 scholarship, one to go to UK and one to go to China. And nak apply SIMDABI punya scholarship, nak apply belum lagi nak shortlisted, nak apply pun, if you don't get A+ for your ADMATs, you will not qualify for the China program. Okay? And if you get A- for your English, you will not qualify for the UK program. Alright? So how vital ADMATs English is, you will see later. Okay, yang ini first stage apply online, and then somebody will contact on preferred study location because they ada China, UK, and then they have a 2-day camp. Okay, day 1 is about documents, written assessments. Documents ni kita punya result dan sebagainya lah. Okay, and then essay. Okay, the topic was share with us your career aspiration in SIMDABI. Okay, day 2 is group case study, task and presentation. Okay, so topic yang Mikhail share ni is in a team, plan and automobile exhibition for SIMDABI, location, advertising, itinerary, staffing and budget. Okay, then ada individual case study yang tadi dalam group, and then ada juga yang individual case study dan presentation, and then stage 3 is the individual interview. Okay, Mikhail is pursuing digital marketing because that is what PNB wants him to do. He actually later on bila dah confirm straight A+, dia dapat JPA scholarship to do economics in UK, but since susah sangat nak dapat SIMDABI, and SIMDABI ni dah guarantee job, okay, dah akan berkerjaya dengan SIMDABI, which is a very strong company, so Mikhail chose to go with SIMDABI. Okay, that's about it. It's 10:45. I told Captain Rahmat I would need 45 minutes. Okay, the conclusion is preparation is very very vital. Spiritual tu saya kata selalu kena berdoa sebagai mental, physical and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence mesti all get up to prepare for this is tedious screening process, and then mesti buat research. One thing I want to point out, remember people who want to give you scholarship or people who are interested to get you into their team, nak jadi salah seorang staff TNB ke, for example, Tenaga Nasional Berhad ke apa kan, they want to see what you can give to the organisation. What is your strength that suits most to the organization's mission, vision. So if you keep telling what you expect from them, good allowance, being sent to overseas, but not knowing about the company, then that is not impressive. That is not impressive. So must research and must make it apparent, make it clear to the interviewers what you can give to the company. Say for example, you read about Google and you know how Google play importance in teamwork, then you can say, okay, I've read up your mission, your vision. I know teamwork is very important. I'm a person with a very, very strong team spirit. You know, that's how you relate it. Okay, what happens if you don't get the opportunity now? Okay, sebab scholarship 1,000, orang straight A's pun dekat 9,000. Dan tak semestinya straight A's you will get the scholarship. Ada orang 8A 1B+, 10A 1B+, pun dapat scholarship. So what happens if you don't get? Okay, bertenang, sedih memang akan sedih, nak golek-golek guling-guling sekejap pun boleh. Then just pray, do your homework, okay, and do your homework tu, tengok mana course yang sesuai dengan your strength dan sebagainya, apply carefully the UPU dan sebagainya, and work very hard. And believe that, you know, Allah, your creator, will give what's best for you. My children bagi tahu this form 5, dia panggil, I'm not sure betul tak ni, form 5 Pro Max, sebab you know, you all ni form 5 2 kali, tahun 2020, 21, ada form 5 sekejap lepas tu SPM. So all the best, Madam ucapkan kepada semua. Thank you very much for your attention. I pass back this session to Cikgu Khairul or Captain Rahmat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Very important for the kids to Shukri, you may feel that anytime to help out, you know, based on your experience interviewing candidates in Petronas.
Tak. Suara dia.
So if you have any questions for Madam Aina, sorry, do type your questions in the comment section. Anything to add, apa ni, Cik Syukri?
Sorry, I was on mute. Morning, everybody. I'm good for now. I'm just excited for the next agenda where I'll have some key points to share with the audience.
You mean the one on the resume?
Resume and also the personal statement.
Okay, all right. Hello, Natch, since you're there. I think you're on mute now.
Sorry. Like Shukri, I will defer a moment and offer some points a little later after it heats up a little bit.
Okay, all right. If I may add a bit on the interview punya, I have a tip which is actually based on personal experience. A lot of you, I see, tend to put your phone on silent. Okay. Between apa ni, after SPM and also apa ni, until you start your course at the university, please make sure that you answer all your calls. Okay. My son actually missed an interview because his phone was on silent and I was not contactable. So when I realized that a call was made to my phone, I asked him why didn't he answer his call. He said his phone was on silent and he didn't realize. So he missed an interview. So please answer all your calls between now and until you start your course in the university. Okay. Lain pada tu, okay. Sharifuddin is asking, how much has COVID-19 affected the number of scholarships given out to students? I think as it is, we don't know yet because this is the first year that COVID-19 has hit us globally, in fact, and we don't know the financial standing of those institutions that have traditionally been giving out scholarships. But I don't see much difference in the number of scholarships being given out. The only thing that is being affected right now is the job market. So we don't know after your studies, you know, whether there will be enough vacancies to go around. So make sure that when you study, you do your best. Okay, second question here is by Humaira. Yeah, Shukri, anything there?
With regards to this question, whether COVID-19 has affected any of the numbers of scholarships being given, if we follow the historical trend, and I'm talking not on behalf, I'm talking as someone who has been following Petronas's development very closely because I work with the organization. Although with the oil slump, when the economy is not good, I think Petronas is one of the organizations that is continuously very committed to giving up scholarships to students because the organization believes in sustainable development and that future talents are very important. So the president or the company has not probably issued any statements on this yet, but judging from the trends in the past, even when the company is not doing so well because of economic conditions, the numbers of scholarships have been maintained. But I can only speak of this, as part of, as someone who works for the company. But as an accountant, If you put me in a position of being the chief financial officer or finance directors of the companies, the number one areas that we normally cut our budget is actually training and development. So that will dwindle down. And of course, that would somehow also affect the number of scholarships that these companies will be giving out, especially private companies. GLCs, because of their maybe long-standing commitment to helping the nation, they might reduce the number of scholarships, but not that many. But private companies, be assured that they will, because at the back of their head, it's always the commercial and financial impact to the business that they will put first. So in summary, to answer your question, overall in the country, looking at the trend, especially the financials of the companies, especially banks, waktu-waktu bagi moratorium lebih ni, the number of scholarships will go down, but we do not have the statistics of how many, the number of reduction for each companies, but in totality the number of scholarships will go down. That is the most logical explanation I can give at this point in time, considering the economic condition of the country.
Okay, we have three other questions. One from Humaira, two from Humaira actually. I'll combine that one, Irfan and then Maya Alicia. Okay, I will go to Humaira. Humaira's question is, quality or quantity is more important during an interview? And if you are holding a high position like prefect or high com and you are not involved in a lot of co-curricular activities, is it really worth it to possess those positions? Okay, I think here, when you talk about quality or quantity is more important during an interview, of course you need to have a quality interview, okay? But
Quality is more important in anywhere.
yeah, quality is of course more important than quantity at any time. But if you're given a lot of opportunities for interviews, then just go to all the interviews that you've been selected to go to, okay? And then your second question there is, if you're holding a high position like prefects and high com, but you are not involved in a lot of co-curricular activities, is it really worth it to possess those positions? The answer is yes, because when you are being interviewed, one of the things that they look for is your leadership skills and your organizing skills. Okay, so it is very important for you to have those positions. This is again why, for the benefit of those Form 5 MCKK guys, Humaira and the STF girls, they were there with you last year. They're part of the Future Leaders training program. The thing that we teach them is to organize things. That is to make up for any shortcomings when you do not have a good co-curricular score. You know, you're not part of the rugby team, or you're not part of the football team and whatnot. Okay, there are those who are, genuinely kuat lentang. All they do during games is they measure the bed, for example. Okay, so when you have all these other skills, then it's very important, because all these add up to how the interviewer would judge you as a person. That is what I think of it. Maybe Shukri and Netch have other views on this. Or do you agree with
yes,
that?
if I may add.
Yeah, sure.
And Captain Rahmat is very, very correct. And I would like to add something quite brutal on positions. Yeah, actually, people look at positions. Throughout your life, people will look at positions. And yes, a prefect's position is very high. If you are in any committees and stuff like that, it will be, for the most part, looked on positively if you perform. Okay? If you perform. Obviously, if you take up a position and you don't perform, then that's a different matter. It will work against you. Now, I also said brutal because that's the reason, these positions, that's also the reason why throughout your life, you will see that people fight for positions in persatuan, associations, political parties, and all that. People will just fight for positions because generally positions are very, very, up there. People look at positions, no matter how good or bad that kind of position is. They look at the position first, and that's the same with most interviewers. I have to admit, even myself as an interviewer, I would see, wow, this guy is a prefect, or this girl is a prefect in a girls' school, and that is a big plus already. Okay, but of course, a fair interviewer will look at everything, not just the position. But to answer the question, yes, the position is important. It's worthy. Thank you.
Yeah. Online interview, gantung mask kat telinga jangan gantung mask kat telinga.
I would probably give some perspective just to add to what Pak Nash has said just now. I'll give you two examples. You are the head of a certain division in the prefects board, but an extra co-curricular activity of participating in a tennis competition. Participating in a tennis competition, sports wise, it's good. If you get a certain position, you get champion, or you get number 2 or number 3, that would be good. But just imagine this: if I'm an interviewer or a resume reviewer, and I look at your achievements, you participated in a certain competition as part of co-curricular activities. Okay, that's good. In comparison to if you're the head of a division in the prefects board, and these are the changes or policies that you brought to the board, in that particular year. The changes that you've brought, the leadership. In some situations, these are how you demonstrated leadership when you are in that position. So I think that carries a little bit more weightage lah, and hence
40 tu apa dia?
Pak Nat said positions are actually very important.
Special.
You would need to be able to tell the story behind the position.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Questions here.
Okay, the third question. We have Irfan. Irfan, my question is, what guarantees a scholarship? I've had a senior who got straight A's and was an excellent problem solver and was good at conversing, but didn't get the scholarship. What is the metric on how they evaluate an individual? Interesting. Very good question there, Irfan.
Maybe I can start the ball rolling here. First of all, we need to be clear on the metrics. Okay. Of course, the common metrics that we have in gauging whether someone deserves a scholarship is academic qualification, academic excellence. What's your results? That's always number one. And then we go into extracurricular activity, and then we have leadership, and then we have communication, we have critical thinking, we have problem solving, and the list goes on and on and on. But what we don't understand is to what extent are we on the skills ruler with regards to all these metrics. Your senior might be good at all of the metrics that I've just described, but how good is he? That sort of definition or in-depth assessment is through the eye of the beholder. Your assessor might have a different definition on what good communication skills are. So someone who is able to strike a conversation just like that spontaneously, you might view this someone as being good in communication skills. But as an assessor, I'm gonna give you a scholarship, and you're gonna bring Petronas's name, for example. I don't want any Tom, Dick, and Harry or anybody that could just strike a good conversation. My definition of communication skills might be someone who is able to strike a conversation, maintain a conversation, give good content, give good feedback, also a good listener, and the list goes on and on. So we need to understand really the gauge or the measurement or the skills ruler of all these metrics. Now I can list all the metrics in the world, but we need to understand apa yang sebenarnya assessors ni tengok dekat the metrics ni, and that is tu yang important sebenarnya.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then sometimes you may be good in everything. There are times that the choice of words that you use might have sabotaged your opportunity. You know, for example, like if they ask you a question, like, you know, if you don't get the scholarship, then how would you feel? Then you answer something like, I don't really care. You know, instead of saying I don't mind, but I hope, you know, trying to mitigate the situation and still appeal to them for you to be given a chance for that scholarship. So remember, choice of words here means that you need to practice your English. You must improve on your vocabulary and whatnot. I think that was covered a bit by Puan Aina just now. Okay, so that metric is a difficult thing for you to actually quantify. I would give, for example, myself. Okay, I am 54. I have more than 30 years worth of experience in various fields. Yet there have been jobs that I've not been able to get because I simply do not meet the job specification. You know, they're looking for something else. I probably overqualify or I underqualify. So, you know, this again, like Abang Shukri said, it's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, so now to my Alicia question. Anything?
May I add a little bit? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Again, like my earlier answer, I'm going to be a bit brutal as well. Earlier, I already said how brutal positions are. Okay, now for this, as Abang Shukri already mentioned, you have those metrics that you can quantify. Okay, they are qualitative things, but you can sort of quantify them. There are two other things that are very, very subjective that could make or break your getting a scholarship, and it's very brutal. As an interviewer, I can tell you that I am guilty of it as well. Okay, now these two other things. Okay, no matter how good you are, how wonderful your qualifications, your achievements are. But in an interview, there are two other things that interviewers, they don't look for it. Okay? These two things, which I'll tell you, but they don't look for it, but they will be a big part of how they evaluate you. One is your vibes. Okay? Vibes, V-I-B-E-S. You see, it's very difficult to quantify, but it's just your vibes. Kalau dalam bahasa Melayunya is it's not a very common word, but it's rasa. Bukan rasa, rasa kita. Okay? Kita macam mana kita tengok rasa orang tu. Okay? And if your vibes are good, then it's already very positive. You enter the door, you have good vibes. It's already good. It's difficult to quantify. I don't know how to explain it anymore, but that happens. Okay? And there's some who come in and the vibes are just not there. Okay? So how to improve your vibes? Okay, number one is be positive. Just be positive. Come in with a smile. Come in with a positive attitude. Attitude is key. Sikap. If you have a good attitude, your vibes would show it. It can be seen in your vibes if you have a positive attitude. And it affects the way you talk. It affects the way you present yourself. It affects how you show yourself to others. If inside you, your attitude is positive, and that covers a lot of things. How you show respect to everyone, not just to the interviewers, but your respect to everyone. Okay, that's one. Okay. The other brutal thing is Nobody wants to admit this, but it is looks, rupa. Okay? It is looks. No interviewer will admit this, but every interviewer is biased about it. They will look favorably on those who look good, on those who are handsome, on those who are beautiful, on those who are pretty, on those who are well dressed. Okay, so try to look as good as possible. That's my brutal answer to you. Just try to look as good as possible. Some are born blessed with it, some maybe not so. But if you are, well, take advantage of it. If you are not, then try to make yourself beautiful. Try to make yourself good, look good. Try to make yourself handsome. You have to work on it. Okay, there's this Parisian fashion designer, I forgot which one, I think it was Karl Lagerfeld, who said, and he was talking about women, but of course this applies to everyone. And listen carefully, he said, there are no ugly women in the world, only lazy ones. Okay, it's very brutal. Okay? There are no ugly women in the world, only lazy ones. But actually it applies to all humans, all people, even men. There are no ugly people in the world, only lazy ones. Meaning that if you are ugly, considered ugly, then you cannot be lazy if you want to look good. You have to work on your looks. If you have jerawat or whatever, you know, you really work hard to use the right medication to smooth your skin. You know, if you have, I don't know, if you're overweight, then you have to work out and make yourself look more athletic. You know? So this is very brutal, but that's the reality of it. Okay, most interviewers will try not to be biased, but sometimes you just can't help it. Okay, now this is especially so if, let's say, I had one interview that I did. It's not a scholarship interview; it's a work interview. Okay, so it's slightly different, but the principle is the same. I and my colleagues came down to 3 candidates. Okay, 3. All were equally good. Okay, all were equally good, similar qualifications, similar experience, and all that. In the end, all of us agreed on the most good-looking one. That's it, on the most good-looking one. So, I know in religion, in common sense, everything, people say, oh, looks should not be the criteria. But let's face it. Let's be honest. Looks matter. Okay, that's it.
What I know?
Alright, boleh dengar ke?
Boleh.
Okay, Irfan asked what guarantees, isn't it? Actually, to be frank, to be truthful, there is no guarantee in life. So because Irfan used the word guarantee, okay, so I relate the story of what happened to us. My son was a head prefect during primary school. He was a head prefect during secondary school. So kalau ketua umum sekolah asrama penuh ni, it's not an easy job because you are in the school, you are there 24 hours. You would think that you would have the advantage over others, especially because you are an 11A students. He was a straight A student with 7A plus. But he had 1A minus. Okay, 3 A's, 1A minus, and the A minus was English. So when I called JPA, I asked Mara and other organizations because he was not even shortlisted. Bukannya pergi interview and not selected, but he was not even shortlisted. So the requirement on that particular year was that you must have minimum A for English. All right. So because of that, his name was dropped off or slashed from the earlier part of the screening process. So you don't even get the chance to actually show or perform. So that is why I say, even when the government of Malaysia had sent him to Japan for an exchange student program representing the country, because I asked this to JPA, you have invested a lot on him. Ada kursus ketua umum dekat Pahang, I think Pathfinder was involved, and a lot of things, and he's not even not straight A, bukan ada 1 B plus pun, you know. But JPA cakap, minta maaf puan, we have checked back, so apparently because English tak qualify, this is the requirement or the prerequisite of the foundation schools. So that's why he was not selected. So when I gave talks the following year to other schools, I met SASA students, Sekolah Tun Fatimah students, SJS students. I said, you better be careful with your English, okay? Because our experience, we missed because of that. But what happened was, in the following year, the English debater for SJS got A- for her English SPM. But she had been selected, and she's currently in KYUEM. If I'm not mistaken, she's under Petronas scholarship, doing accounting. So it's, you see, different year have different requirements. Okay, maybe because a lot of good talents were actually missed during, when they had the requirement. So there is no guarantee, even if you are a top scholar. So even if you're selected for the interview, like what the other panel team members have shared, maybe it's what you said, which had sabotaged yourself. Maybe suddenly you uttered the word stupid, silly, something like that, which is not suitable during a formal session with somebody who's, doing a professional work. Ni bukan cakap sembang-sembang santai dengan kawan-kawan kan? Or, maybe other reasons. That's why I had emphasized that it's very, very important for you to do your best, stretch to the best of your ability. Doa selalu, because you wouldn't know. Some people who you see highly unlikely, tengok-tengok dapat. Itu yang Irfan tanya. Nampak macam he should be the right candidate, but tak dapat. You never know what went wrong along the line. Okay, and then somebody was asking about T20, M40. Okay, we have candidates that I have come across who actually excelled, but because scholarships are limited, they will prioritize those who need it more. So they went to Taylor's College, Harriet Ward, and there are exams that was conducted. Okay, I'm not sure about the current practice. And if you score a certain level, you will be exempted from the fee. So for T20 excellent students, that is the option that they go to. I have a friend who has a daughter. Her daughter was studying in College Yayasan Saad. She was called for interview by Tenaga Nasional Berhad. But of course, because of the income, around 30,000 monthly income, she was not selected. She went to Taylor's College, and because of the very, very excellent result, she got exempted for the fee. And I think she's flying to the States. Okay, so those are the avenues that you all can actually explore. Okay, I hope that helps. That information helps.
Yeah. In addition to that, B40, for the B40 candidates, I think there are lots of programs out there that are trying to help them for scholarship. I think one of them is yes, Peraju.
If you all realize, one of the scholars on my slide just now got 8 A+ and 2 A-, the MRSM Tun Ghaffar bubble. So I asked the HR in PNB, because my friend happened to be an HR personnel there and involved in the scholarship awards. They reward to a person. Okay, they have gone through the assessment and everything, and she's good. Okay, normally they don't take people with A-, normally. Tapi memang this particular person from Olak Lempit, so probably the financial background of the family was the criteria that she was selected. So, talking about guarantee, there are so many factors involved. All right?
Okay. All right. Apa ni, macam Yayasan Khazanah, PNB, Ana.
Okay, in addition Puan Aina, JPA Mara, Yayasan Khazanah and PNB memang tak boleh core subject English, BM and sejarah memang tak boleh A-. Itu dia orang punya pre-selection. For Petronas memang it's okay A-. It depends, this A- tu depends on scholarship lah. But JPA Mara is language, no A-, English.
Because one person, she got 9A+, yeah. But 1B+, which happened to be BM, ni budak KYS, Then she went to University Malaya. So betul, during my son's year is BM, English, sejarah and mod maths. Must be A plus or A. But the following year ada yang A minus one of the subject tu, tapi dapat JPA marah. So that's why I kata sometimes they change slightly the requirement. Tengok ni pun rezeki, but macam anak captain lah tak dapat, tak jawab interview punya call kan.
Interview call, nasib dia lah kan.
Rezeki tu.
2019 memang ikut rezeki because PESB Petronas for 2019 for untuk local you hanya up to second level yang ambil test online saja, that Cambridge test. For overseas baru diorang buat virtual
interview.
Role play.
Very if we are not sure about batch 2020 ni kan, if next year they're still on virtual, but I think the scholars will be more prepared than this year. I don't know next year lagi.
Hana, that's a very good point. Because even YTP Mara pun macam tu, but YTP Mara yang talent development program ni bukan sahaja untuk local you, but also for overseas. This year, they only select from your application online. So that's why very important for you to score, and having those positions really help. The leadership roles and also yang jawab psychological test, attitude test too. Okay, they just take from there. And my son just finished his first semester exam. So I asked him, because this is the first time YTP Mara take the scholars without assessment or interviewing, just based on the results and whatever they give during online, they selected. I said, ada tak drop out? Are there any students who cannot cope with the studies? He said no. In fact, memang pandai-pandai. His class saja during mid-sem berbelas orang dapat 4 flat. This is pra-USM for medic punya preparation. It's either they fly to India atau they pergi USM Kubang Krian. So you see, even when they take people like this way, this time maybe for a long time they have not done this. They have been doing the interview and assessment. If they say the success rate is good, they get good scholars, then maybe they will this year, if next year still ada the social physical distancing issue, they may still be doing more or less the same. So students, I tengok ada juga girls from STF and also the MCKK boys. So please make sure you do your best for your exams. And when you apply, you jangan terlupa isi mana-mana jawatan ke sukan or whatever yang you wakil sekolah ke apa. Don't forget, because they may just look at that. Alright?
Tadi pasal B40, as you most of you maybe dah tahu because for Yayasan Peneraju memang untuk B40. Some scholarship, I noticed few years ago, Yayasan Tenaga, diorang ada one special scholarship untuk B40. So kalau B40, but for most scholarship is based on merits, unless it's specified memang requirement untuk B40. But jangan putus asa lah, you just apply saja, just try. Sometimes we don't know your luck. Macam 2019, SPM 2019, their process was very different from previous years. Memang ikut nasib because of this COVID. We don't know what next year's hold, so just cuba. But if possible, if you want straight A, no A minus. That's my best advice. Walaupun tak logik, but straight A, no A minus. That will put you at one level untuk you to be able to qualify for that scholarship. First, you have to be able to apply. Second, dia orang tengok your COCO for them to select to be called for scholarship. The third stage is your personality for them to give to select you for second stage of scholarship. And then the fourth stage is your leadership and everything.
Okay, thank you Puan Hana. Okay, I think we can go to the next question. My Alicia Sofia asked, how to promote yourself during an interview without sounding arrogant or like you're boasting? Maybe Pak Net, you are the language person.
Okay, how to convey your achievements without boasting, without sounding like you're boasting. Okay, the first thing is actually it's not so much even the language, it's how you talk, how you present those achievements. Okay, and just think of it as presenting them as facts. Okay, there's a difference. If you're the way you think about that presenting is that you're just conveying the facts of what you have, then it will show. It will show in your face, in your tone of voice, that you are not boasting, you are not membesar-besarkan diri, you're just presenting your facts. Okay, very simple. If you say, if they ask you, okay, what are your achievements? I've been a prefect for since I was in Form 4, and I have done this, I have achieved that, I have, you see how I as simple as that, how I present it. It's just facts, solid facts. If you can, most interviewers can tell. Now, on the other hand, actually, if you have a real achievement, okay, it is actually slightly permissible to feel proud about it. Okay? Interviewers don't mind if it is clearly an achievement and they see that you are proud of that achievement. It's okay. Okay? But the key again is that you don't. Okay, I think this is. I better go back a little bit to the basics. Yep. Now, pride is very, very important. Okay, let me make that very brutally clear again. Pride, bangga, is very important. But what kind of pride? There are two kinds of pride. Dalam Islam pun ada dua jenis pride, ya. Dua jenis kebanggaan, dua jenis bangga. Satu yang bagus dan satu yang buruk. Okay. Yang buruk tu saya rasa untuk orang kita, untuk orang Melayu lah terutamanya, kita dah selalu ditusuk yang jangan bangga. Tapi sebenarnya maksud jangan bangga yang itu ialah riak. Okay? Riak. Okay. Tapi sebenarnya kita kena bangga dengan pencapaian kita. Kita kena bangga menjadi orang Islam. Kita kena bangga menjadi orang Melayu. Tapi ada caranya. Okay? Dan kalau kita tahu membezakan bangga yang baik dengan bangga yang buruk, kita akan lebih mudah berjaya. Sebab kalau kita tak ada rasa bangga dengan apa yang kita buat, kalau kita tak ada rasa bangga dengan pencapaian kita, pencapaian keluarga kita, pencapaian bangsa kita, pencapaian agama kita, pun masalah juga. Okay. So saya dah sebut tadi, yang bangga yang buruk, bangga yang kita tak mau ialah riak. Dan bangga yang kita nak, apa tu dalam bahasa Arabnya ialah fakhar jayid. Fakhar jayid. Siapa yang cakap Arab tu tahulah apa yang saya sebut, ya. Okay, fakhar jayid ni memang maksudnya bangga yang baik. Bangga yang membawa kepada kebaikan. Okay. Apa bezanya? Senang saja beza dia. Fakhar jayid, bangga yang baik ialah bangga yang kita sendiri tahu kita mendapat kejayaan, kita mendapat pencapaian yang kita senang, yang kita suka, yang akan membuat kita rasa kita ada satu achievement. Okay. Tapi I think ada background noise. Sorry, ada background noise quite loud sikit. Kat mana tu? I hope it's not mine. Okay.
No, it's not.
Okay. Kuat juga lah. I think somebody's mic is unmuted, very loud. Okay, okay, thank you very much. I think dia dah tutup. Okay, saya sambung. Apa tu? Jadi fakhar jayid, kebanggaan yang baik itu ialah bangga yang kita cuma dalam diri kita tahu itu adalah satu kebaikan yang ada pada kita. Satu kebaikan yang ada bukan pada diri kita saja, tapi kita kena bangga dengan kebaikan yang ada pada keluarga kita, yang ada pada bangsa kita, yang ada pada agama kita. Okay? Kita kena tahu itu adalah pencapaian. Okey. Bangga yang macam tu akan menjadi buruk hanya dengan satu tambahan. Bila kita fikir orang lain tak sebaik kita, itulah menjadi riak. Okay? Kalau kita prefect, kita the best rugby player, the best footballer, or the best athlete, whatever, it's okay to be proud of it. But it becomes bad if you think others are not worthy or not as good as you, and you think others are simply not as good as you. Okay, then that becomes riya. That becomes, because you are now comparing yourself to others. Okay, whereas the good fahar jayid, which agama pun nak, is that you are proud of your achievements. Okay, so once you understand that, and it's very important that you do understand that, be proud of your achievements, be proud of the achievements of your family, your siblings, and you can tell people, you can, but it's the way that you tell people. So if you already have that attitude that I'm proud of who I am, I'm proud of my achievements, I'm proud of my people, okay, but you do not think that others are below you, you do not think that others are bad, others are not as good as you, then it's okay. But the moment you think of your achievements as, wow, I'm great, and others are not as good as I am, others are not as handsome as I am, others are not as pretty as I am, whatever, then that is where it is wrong. Okay, so be proud of your achievements and convey that pride in a factual manner. Okay, so if you convey it factually, it shows in your face. You're just conveying the honest facts about your achievements. Then it's okay. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Sophia Soizat has two questions. Number one is how to have critical thinking skills, and do T20 have a chance to get the scholarship? Okay. Critical thinking, Shukri?
Sorry, I was on mute. Funny thing is that I'm actually multitasking here. And the irony of giving of being part of this session today is that I'm actually also updating my resume. So things timely lah. Okay. All right. Critical thinking here is to me how I define critical thinking. And people normally associate critical thinking with the ability to solve problems, and the ability to solve problems in two ways. The ability to solve problems or get creative or show innovative sort of thinking or approaches to issues in two ways. One way is quickly, and the other way is creatively. Now, critical thinking here, if you're really smart, and I have MCKK friends, who I work with on a very regular basis at the office, and they are critical thinkers who are smart. Okay? They are smart. Okay, dari dua cabang punya orang pula. You have smart people who are quiet. Now, smart people who are quiet, we don't know you're smart. Okay, this is very important. You have to follow the story in order for you to understand what critical thinking is. Critical thinkers who are quiet, we don't know you're critical thinkers. We don't know you're smart. Okay, until you pull someone to the side and you start talking to someone, then we know, oh, you actually have a very good and critical idea. Tapi kenapa you tak suarakan? And then normally my MCKK smart friends, they are critical thinkers, they are smart, and they are loud. They get their ideas across. So what that means is that and this is important because it touches also some of the points that Pak Nat cakap tadi about you're not boasting or apa benda ke that you're smart tau, because you're just trying to get your ideas across. Now, critical thinking and being someone who's smart and being loud or explicit about it is the process. Now, critical thinking is not about being smart, but it's about it's about you understanding apa proses critical thinking ni. And if you understand that process, and if you demonstrate that you understand that process, then you're actually a critical thinker. So if I am to gauge whether or not you're a critical thinker, I give you a problem, for example, okay? I'll give you a problem. Some people would just say, okay, look, let's just organize, this is a problem and these are the solutions. Okay, so you're smart. You're able to come up with solutions to the problem in order to solve it. Okay, great. How does a critical thinker approach this? Now, this is what assessors would normally look at you. Now, critical thinkers, although smart, they are not selfish. One, and they are a team player. They're also very good leaders. So this is the process. You have a problem that you want to solve. So how do you demonstrate critical thinking? First of all, summarize the problem. Get other people to also add into your summary. That is a smart way to do it. That is how you think critically on your feet. And after that, organize your group into segments in which, do you have experience in solving this problem in this certain way? Do you have experience in doing this? Do you have experience in doing that? So you're actually organizing and you're planning and you're involving people. Okay, then prioritize the number of solutions that you have. Match it with the resources that you have. Is this doable? Is this not doable? Challenge the idea. Get people to be involved in the process of challenging the ideas. And then filter the solutions to the most feasible solutions that you can actually do to solve that particular problem. Do you understand that? Now, critical thinking, how we assess is whether or not you undergo that process. Now, if you do, then you're structured, you're organized, you involve other people, you show leadership, you give people the room and space to talk. You bukan you seorang je cakap. So that all of those elements, make up a good critical thinking punya metrics lah. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. I think just to add into Sophia's question there, individually, how I would do it is, number one is always be able to criticize yourself. Start asking questions about your decisions, your decision-making process. Number two is, in order for you to be a critical thinker, you must be a good listener, first and foremost. You must be able to listen to other people, then you analyze the information that you have received, and then you present your ideas, okay? But in order to present your ideas, you must also be thinking forward. So you must be a forward thinker, you must be able to criticize your own decisions, you must be a good listener. That is for me lah, how to develop your critical thinking skills. Okay, the next question is T20. Do T20 students have a chance to get the scholarship? For me, it's a fair playing field for everyone. It all goes back down to your academic achievements, your co-curricular achievements, your leadership skills, and most importantly, your personality on how you answer questions during your interview. Okay, next question here is Fado. What are the reassurance from most of the interviewee? Okay, what he's asking here is, as an interviewee, what assurance can you give to the organization that is giving out the scholarship that you do not flop in the future? My simple answer to that would be, just work hard when you study. You don't want to flop and lose that your results lah. When you nombor satu tu is of course your SPM results. Nombor dua, without which they won't call you anyway. Number two is, when you get the scholarship, you make sure you study. It's not your money, it's their money. They're investing in you, so you make sure that they get their investments worth. Shukri, Netch, anything to add there?
Sorry, actually, I was looking at the questions and I think we skipped one question, which is quite interesting and very, in fact, very critical.
We'll get back to that one kejap lagi.
I will get, okay. So,
Yeah.
so because of that, because I was reading and thinking about that, I didn't look at the following question.
Alright.
So I defer to Brother Shukri to maybe answer the one that you're asking about.
Okay.
All right. Reassurance. You know, even the assessor or the interviewer, they're actually humans. So they understand the fact that, you know, in life or in your journey of being a student or being a person for that matter, you would undergo flops or trials and tribulations, you know, difficulties, failures. But here is where your storytelling abilities would be very important. You know, I would like to hear failure stories, but I would want to know how you bounce back from that failure. So those are the extra points that you will get in interviews. You know, there's no, if you want to give reassurance, kita pun interviewer ni, we're not, sorry lah to use this word, we're not stupid, you know, and we're humans. So we understand, if you always tell your stories about, you know, your glory, apa semua, yes, everybody, every Tom, Dick and Harry who walks into that door, into an interview, will do the same. I'm telling you, everybody will say they're head prefects, they won this, they won that, they participated in this, whatever. But if you can give some flair to your, during your interview by telling, you know what, with all of these achievements, with all of this, I had my setbacks. You know, tell the story. And at the same time, tell the interviewers how you managed to bounce back from that setback and failure, and how you are a better version of yourself today in comparison to before you experienced that failure. Now that's how you give a good assurance to your interviewer.
Okay, so we go back.
May I add to that?
Okay, sure.
Okay. Yes. Abang Shukri gave a very good point there, which I would just like to add with a little bit of example. Okay. How many of you like to watch National Geographic or Discovery Channel documentaries? Okay. You know why you enjoy watching National Geographic and Discovery Channel documentaries? And in fact, I know their formula because I helped to work on them. So much so that one of my nicknames is Nad Geo. Nad is my already my nickname, but my other nickname is Nad Geo. It's a play on Nat Geo, National Geographic. Now, if you watch National Geographic documentaries, same with Discovery Channel, same with most good documentaries, okay, even if they're talking about something great, something that's fantastic, something that's an achievement, we will always, as a scriptwriter myself, we will always look for failures. We will look for challenges. We will look for that failure, and then we will see how to show how that failure was overcome. Okay? Now you look at all these National Geographic documentaries, even on wildlife, okay, they show how an animal who was trying to get his prey was unable to do so until eventually there was one party that won. Okay, if it's a documentary about disasters, you know, in the end they show you how there was one or two good things about overcoming the disaster. Okay, that's how people get your attention. That's how you get people's attention. Okay, by sharing some things that were setbacks for you and how you overcame it, because people want to know how you overcame it. So Abang Shukri gave a very good example. Now, Captain Ahmad, if you don't mind, I'll go straight to that question that we accidentally missed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me go to that question and read it because it's very good. Yeah. Ilham, I think. Sorry. Let me go back to that. Let me very. Yeah, I'm scrolling down to that question. Irfan Hilmi. Okay, very good question. Thank you. My issue with positions and achievements is that there's the a bit of toxicity coming from the kids who choose those positions. And as much as self-image is important, is it the main thing people look for? Okay, very good question. Now, the thing is about that toxicity, it's not just about the positions. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Like most people, I'm involved in many associations. Some are very good, some are a little bit messy, some have a lot of conflict, some are very smooth. You know, it depends. There's so many kinds of people and you meet them all in associations. Now, let me give you an example. There was one association that I was in where someone in there was very toxic, but that person was like critical in a very negative way. Always, that's how you mean by toxic, like, you know, very critical in a negative way. And yet, when we all said, hey, why don't you take up a position and help? Okay, why don't you even run for president of the association, and then you can address all these criticisms that you're giving us? Dia tak nak. He doesn't want it. See, so it's not about chasing the position, it's about the person. If that person is toxic, no matter what position or no position that he or she gets or doesn't get, he or she is still toxic. Okay, so it's not the chasing of positions. In other associations that I've been in, there've been very healthy competition. The winner is always very humble, and the loser is always very not just forgiving, but will cooperate with the winner. See, so it's not the position. It's not the chasing of the position. It's the person. Yeah. So don't worry too much. I know where you're coming from, and probably because you are younger, so you've seen some of that negative. But as you grow more, and you will see that it's not the wrong of the positions or the chasing of the positions. It's the wrong of the people involved. Okay. Now, on your second part on the image, okay. Actually, I did answer this, but I'll just repeat it. It is not the main thing that interviewers are looking for. No. Yeah. But if everything is the same, all the criteria is the same, then yes, that could come into play. But again, most fair interviewers, I like to think I'm one as well, we consciously try not to involve looks. But being human, all of us are affected by looks. Okay, we cannot deny that. So, Puan Jasmine also made a very good comment in the chat just now that yes, for actually when I first came in, I didn't realize that we also had lady students. I thought it was just the MCKK. But yes, for the ladies, for the girls, exactly like Puan Jasmine said, it is not about makeup. Okay. Because you can wear makeup the wrong way, okay? And similarly for the guys, it's not the way you have your hairstyle to be the latest K-pop hairstyle and you think the interviewer will look at your hairstyle. No, okay? In fact, for both boys and girls, for both men and women, if you are over obsessed with your looks, it's also negative, okay? Just be natural. As I said, it's not so much about being handsome or being beautiful, okay? But it's more about presenting yourself well, okay? About how, as you come in, the vibes that you give are good. Okay? If the vibes that you give are good, no matter how subjectively not pretty or not handsome you are, it won't matter. Okay? I hope that answers. Thank you.
I think to add to Pak Nech punya points just now, in those days, if you walk into a doctor's office, the doctor's table is always right at the end of the room. You know why? Because they want to study you. They want to see whether you're actually sick or not. Okay. So in this case, when you walk into an interview room, you must, as Pak Nech said just now, project this good vibe. Okay. One other thing that I always thing that affects me when I interview a person, be it male or female, is smell. Okay, some people tend to put on their perfume, overpoweringly. That is a big distraction for me. I do not like strong smell of perfume, nor do I like body odor. So that goes back to your personal grooming. Okay, siapa yang, okay, I'm going to be blunt here, okay, you know, your bulu ketiak tu janganlah panjang daripada rambut sendiri dan sebagainya lah, you know, because it gives out bad body odor. So you are all young adults, you know, you're going to university and then you're going to work after this. Make sure that your self-grooming is, you know, tip-top. Okay, you don't want to smell funny when you walk into an office, be it sweet or be it smelly. Okay, all right. So now this question is, it's a good question by Noratna Nadira. She asked if she can speak other languages, okay, would it add to the possibility of her getting a scholarship, you know, other than getting good results, being, you know, having other languages? Pak Nek, any thought?
Yeah, I think I will help to answer that. I have to say I am very biased because I am a linguist and I speak 7 languages. And so for me, anyone who speaks more languages is always a plus for me. But okay, I make it very clear, I do not look down on others who are monolingual. Okay, because everything we have is both a gift from Allah and is also something that we cultivate, we take care of. So that means that some people, they are not good at languages, but they are always good at something else. Okay, Allah is always fair. If you are not good at something, that means you are good at something else. You just need to cultivate what it is that you are good in. So I always remember that, even though I love languages, it is part of my profession. And as I said, I speak multiple languages. But back to your question now, generally, yes. Okay, if you can demonstrate that you do speak an additional language well, then there's no harm in just conveying that as a fact, not as something to be riya about, to show off about. Okay, riya is showing off, like in a sense. So there's no harm. If anything, it shows that you do have an extra skill. Okay. Now, and at best, for example, at best, if it so happens that you didn't know it, but part of the scholarship was also sending students to Japan, and you speak Japanese, well, obviously that's a huge plus. So yes, if you can demonstrate that you can speak an additional language, don't be afraid to make that known. However, just one word of warning. If you, on paper, you took courses in a particular language and you passed, but actually you can't speak very well, be honest about it too. Okay. Yes, mention that you did take the courses, but you're not as good as you hope to be. Okay. I don't speak it. For example, yes, I passed the course, I have this certificate in X language, but I have to be honest, I don't speak it as well as I would like to. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, because if not, there are times when if they see that you have a particular certificate in a particular language, and it so happens that the interviewer speaks that language, they will want to test you. That is natural. Okay? Most interviewers will do that because they want to see whether your certificate is worth or not. Okay, so be honest about it. Yeah. Okay, I hope that helps.
Okay. Right. So that answers Noratna Nadira's question. Anything to add, Abang Shukri, or not? You're good there? Okay. Akil Reza asked, if we wore, for example, a suit, would that be considered overdressing? Because during the session at school, you told us not to stand up too much because it would make the interviewers expect more. Wearing a suit to an interview, scholarship interview.
May I give an opinion on that? Yeah. In the interviews that I did with you guys, with the MCKK boys, some of you wore a normal school suit and most did not. Frankly, I can't even remember who wore a suit and who did not. Yeah. It hardly made a long-term impact. Okay, it didn't make a long-term impact. But I would say that the initial first impression, if you wear a suit and it fits you well, and you carry yourself well with the suit, it is a slight plus. Okay, and again, it's your vibes. Okay, if you come in with the suit and your face shows that you are normal, you're humble about it. There's nothing menunjuk-nunjuk about wearing a suit, then that's fine. But and all those that, if I recall, when I saw those who wore the suit, I didn't see any of them like berbangga in a bad way about wearing the suit. Okay, so the short answer is, if you have a suit that fits well and it makes you look better, then yes, there's no harm wearing it. Especially if it is an option. Okay, so do check with the organizer whether it is permitted or not. That's one of the first things, because sometimes they want everyone to be uniform. So that means that everyone should not wear anything more than the normal attire. Thank you.
Anything there?
Well, 10 years ago, wait a minute. Yeah, 10 years ago when I went for my scholarship interview, I don't remember wearing a suit. It was just a blank shirt with a tie, with a blank tie, normal trousers, and black shoes, and that's it. I mean, that would be the bare minimum, I guess. But wearing a suit, I think in this day and age, it does not really, make people macam go into in awe punya mood ke apa benda ke, because we are already used to seeing people in suits. So maybe 10 years ago, if I wore a suit to that interview, maybe I would get more questions, but luckily I did not. And I think in this day and age, again, it doesn't really count lah, whether you're wearing a suit or not.
Yeah, basically you have to know when to dress professionally and what professionally means, because for example 50 years ago, when I was in primary school, to get on a plane, my mother would take me to a tailor and make this bush jacket and all that, and people used to dress in 3-piece suit going on planes, going abroad. And nowadays we wear slippers or shorts and whatnot. You are the modern traveler. Now going back to this, whether wearing a suit would be considered overdressing, not really, but I would advise you, in our climate, it's best for you to wear a well-pressed shirt. Maknanya your shirt is ironed. Janganlah ada gambar Doraemon or whatever it is on your necktie. Wear plain or striped necktie. Dress professionally. Kasut hitam ke, kasut brown ke, it does not matter, but kalau boleh working shoes. If you cannot afford it, whatever black shoes that you're wearing at Collect now, wear it. But make sure that it's properly shined, or make sure it's polished. Janganlah ada tanah ke dan sebagainya. For girls, okay, you wear whatever you have. If your baju kurung, you cannot afford to buy a new baju kurung, the best baju kurung that you have, wear that one. You don't put on a blazer over baju kurung. That is makcik office punya attire. Okay, dia tak tahan baju, dia pakainya blazer over baju kurung. That's why it's not a formal dress. Just wear your baju kurung, make up lightly, perfume yourself lightly, wear shoes that you're comfortable in. Janganlah tiba-tiba hari tu you nak pergi interview, hari tu lah you nak pakai high heels ke stilettos ke, and then you jalan dah macam tak tahu apa benda dah depan your interviewer. Okay, so dress as how you would dress, but professionally. Okay, next question is Izam Razak. During interviews, this is very interesting. Should we be telling the interviewers our personal problems, or is that too emotional? Okay, I like that. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Generally, no. don't don't highlight so much your problems unless, okay, and now it goes back to what we did discuss earlier, unless it's the kind of thing that you have, you can demonstrate that you have a way, or you already have had a way of overcoming that, and show how you demonstrated critical thinking, or some sort of positive thing to overcome that. Okay? But if it's just a problem that that there's no solution yet, at the very most, only if it has a bearing on what is going to happen next. For example, if for some reason in this interview you have to do something else, you have to go ahead and go to another city, another state, and your family is too poor, your father's car or your family car is broken down, you can't go, then it's okay to just state that you do have that inability to do so, and at the same time try and see how you can solve it. Okay, so then it could work as a plus for you. But to go into an interview and unload your personal problems, your family problems, your whatever, it's not quite the right thing to start off with. Yeah. On the other hand, if it's like a natural disaster, if your kampong and your house was hit by a flood, and because of that there were certain things that you couldn't do which would be needed for the interview, then yes, you need to state that. You need to inform, okay, my house was hit by a flood and I lost this certificate or whatever it is. So of course, that's part of a factual reason. Okay? But so I repeat, don't unload your personal problems or your family problems onto the interviewer or in the interview, unless you have a way of, unless it is necessary to in a factor of the interview, or if you have a solution for it. Okay, hope that helps. Thank you.
Any thoughts, Shukri? Anything to add?
I can give an example. So let's say you come from a poor family, okay, and let's say you're a prefect, you come from a poor family, and it turns out that, you know, when you're a Form 5, you need to be wearing a blazer, but you can't afford to, you know, go to a tailor and get yourself a custom-made blazer, and you know that you can't buy those kind of blazers in the shops because, you know, it's in a certain color, you know, the cutting needs to be like this, pockets and whatnot. So let's say you're the head prefect, and but you come from a poor family. So the story that you can tell is that, look, you know, I was very happy when I was appointed the head prefect. You know, I worked hard from Form 1 to Form 4, and I could say it's quite timely that, you know, I was being given the responsibility to lead more and shine. But unfortunately, I come from a poor family. You know, I at that point in time couldn't afford to go to a tailor and, you know, go make myself a new blazer. So, but this is what we did. At that particular year, I know that, you know, I wasn't the only one experiencing these problems. I have friends, I have juniors who are also, you know, they come from poor family, but they are excellent students, they are excellent prefects. So let's try to just give something back to the prefects community. So this is what we did. We did a fundraising event or program we started collecting funds from our alumni network, for example, or, you know, we sell roti or whatever to get some funds, and managed to you know, and that funds managed to get our selected prefects, you know, their custom made or tailor made blazer for that particular year. So that's how you turn you know, a setback or something that is to you might be a personal problem into something that the interviewer would look at and say, hey, you know, this kid is good, you know, turning something bad into something excellent. So again, what I like to stress here, and I've I couldn't stress on this point more, is your ability to tell a story. Storytelling ability is really important.
Okay, thank you, Abang Shukri. That was a good thing. Okay, I'll just take I'll just take two more questions because we actually have two more sessions to go and we have Q&A after that as well. Okay, one is Humaira asking, once on an interview, the interviewer asked me if I can play any musical instruments, and to be honest, I cannot. How do we answer this type of questions regarding talent and skill? Okay, Humaira, you're a good MC. Okay, you can MC on stage. You have MC'd in that concert in March, and you can act. Even you're a good actor, so you can say that no, I can't play musical instruments, but I can do this. You know, explain to them what you can do, because these are also the soft skills that people are looking for during an interview. Okay, now a question from Said Azhari. How can you stand out among others in a group interview if you're not the group leader? To me, that goes back to your personality, your leadership, how you show your leadership skills. Because if you do a group role play, then that's where they assess you also, besides what you have on your co-curricular activities and your academic achievements. Okay, how do you fare as an individual? Maybe Shukri and Netch, if you want to jump into this one. How do you stand out among others in a group interview if you're not a group leader?
Okay. If you've been paying attention, conducting this session right now is that someone would actually take the lead in answering a question, and others would add on. That is a great example on how you can be a contributor to a discussion or a group activity, even if you're not a leader. You don't have to be the leader all the time. And I think what helps here is to understand the roles that you can play in a team. I forgot there's this one. We were studying this back a couple of years in university, and they have group roles. I think you can Google that, group roles. I forgot the person who came up with that concept. So in the group, you have quite a lot of characters that you can play. You can be a leader. You can be someone who questions the norm, but be sure to have some alternative solutions. You have the yes man, you have the no man, you have someone who is someone who gives reassurances. You don't really give out solutions, but you give reassurance as to how it works. And sometimes this is the role that I play. They always put me in groups where you have all the smart people in the world in that group. So how are you gonna outshine these people? Sometimes smart kids, they can be too overpowering or they can be unstructured. So you can play a role of getting everybody organized. That is also a way for you to contribute in a group where you're not the leader. Okay.
Okay, right.
Yes. Okay. I, other than agreeing very much with what Bang Shukri said, I don't think that it's something that interviewers sort of come out looking for, who is outstanding and how. Actually, in a way, this is something that makes me think, because when I go into interviews, I always keep an open mind. Okay, I don't. I keep an open mind. I don't go in an interview saying, "Oh, I want I want this kind of person, I want that kind of person. No, and I think most interviewers don't consciously do that. And if they do, they will actually try not to, because most experienced interviewers especially know that they have to be open-minded. Of course, there are criteria, yes. There are conditions to be fulfilled, but you as an interviewee don't really have to go out of your way to try to be outstanding. No, you just be yourself. As we said earlier, convey your achievements, and that also means you have to have a very good resume or curriculum vitae that encapsulates well what you have achieved. Okay. Now, in addition to that, or actually somewhat in relation to that, there was also a question on how do interviewers check on vibes. And again, if you understood what I said earlier, no, interviewers do not look for vibes. They do not look for looks either. Okay, it so happens that these are just human things, and they come naturally with both the interviewers and the interviewees. Everyone has vibes. Everyone has looks. Okay, so as you meet someone, those two things will just come automatically. You know, when you meet somebody new, even in a non-interview situation, you don't go around looking for vibes, do you? You don't go around looking for good people to be your friends. Good-looking people to be your friends. Okay, it just so happens that we as humans, we can sense that. We can sense vibes. We can see looks. And for those who are blind, they can sense a person's beauty from the sound of the voice. Okay, so the short answer is no, don't worry. Interviewers are not looking for vibes, and they do not quantify vibes, but it is something that is there. Okay? And like I said, as long as you take care of your attitude, you take care of your sense of respect for everyone, and your sense of good pride, yeah, fakhar jayid, yeah, the good pride, not the riya, then you should be okay. Okay. Thank you.
Cap, I think you're on mute.
All right, sorry. Okay. It's almost lunchtime. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen, for helping out with the answers. I will now go on the presentation for resume writing. I'm going to comment a bit on the resumes and also on the personal statement writing. Okay, you're free to jump in at any time to add points. Okay, so I'll start with resume writing, and then we will have Q&A sessions again after that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so why do you need to write a resume? Number one is, okay, truthfully, no scholarship interviewer has ever asked for a resume from students seeking scholarship. Okay, even Puan Aina pun, you know, we had this discussion. No one has ever asked for a resume from a student seeking scholarship, simply because people think that resume is only for people seeking jobs. But, okay, a great resume helps open doors by grabbing the attention of interviewers. This is where, you know, you have thousands of, 9A plus, straight A students sending their application in, and something needs to help you grab the attention of the interviewers. So a resume would help that. You don't have to, you know, you're not to send the resume before your interview, because this is not a job interview. But what some students have done is, when they enter the room, when they sit down, then they ask if they could just give a copy of their resume to the interviewers, so that they know what to ask about him, or you know, to clarify certain points about their strengths. Now, it sells your strongest skills and accomplishments. That's why you need a resume. And then it can also include what you have been doing since completing your SPM exams. For example, you finish your SPM exams, you go back home, you don't do anything. But if you organize something, for example, like for your local surau or for your local mosque punya kariah, some students from SBP I jempol, when they go back to their kampung, what they actually do is they conduct tuition classes at their local mosques for the Qari'ah punya students. Okay, so they can add that into their resume and then tell the interviewers what they have actually done during the time that they're not doing anything other than getting a job probably at McDonald's or as a assistant salesperson in a mall. You can also organize things. And a resume is a living document. You can build on it and use it later when seeking for an internship, towards the end of your course at the university, or even when you are looking for a job later. And then it shows how you are matched for the field of study that you intend to pursue. Now, the other day we have asked you to provide us with a copy of your resume. So we've seen a lot of resumes from you. Some are good, some are not there. Okay. Some are totally horrible. I just want to be brutal like Pak Nat here. Okay. And then again, okay, as PPI Jempol, we conducted this 3-day 2-night workshop on resume writing and also interview skills. Abang Shukri, myself, Puan Jasmine and all that. Okay. When they provided us with their resume, okay, and they did the same for their scholarship interviews, several have obtained scholarship going to their good universities like Walailak, Prince of Songkhla University, and 6 of them are now studying overseas, including 2 in China who are doing engineering, 1 in Jordan, 1 in Egypt, 1 in Dubai, if I remember correctly, and 1 is actually studying here in Unitan. Okay, how to write a resume? I know that you use the Canva punya format, okay, but what it needs is to include a summary. Do not write about what you plan to achieve. Instead, sum up who you are and entice the reader to keep reading. Okay, make the reader feel interested to read more about you when they get a piece of paper. And then decide on a resume format. If you have enough experience like myself or Pak Nat, Puan Jasmine, Puan Anna and all that, then you go for the chronological format. Mana you talk about year by year what you've been doing, what job that you have had or what courses that you've been going through. But if you are rich with skills and achievements, then you go for the functional format. I see that most of you have done the functional format where you actually have that, radio button for katalah robotics, you have berapa, your skill, your English is berapa button, 4 or 5 or 5 over 5 and stuff like that. So that is functional format. It tells people your skills. So I like that. And as students, I think it's best that you go for that. And then you must also pay attention to details. So when you do your resume, please make sure that it gets checked by your teacher. Okay, kalau it's in English, then make sure that you pass it to your English teacher and make sure that your spelling, your punctuation, your grammar must be correct to give your resume a professional look. And then utilize action verbs. Okay, action verbs ni, the weakest would be participated. Okay, participated in this competition, participated in that competition. What an interviewer nowadays, okay, in this industry 4.0 punya era, people are looking for whether you are a leader or not. For example, I organized a blood donation drive, okay, for the Malay College Student Union. I organized, a anti-dengue campaign, at STF. These are action verbs. So the best would be to be the organizer, co-organize, organize, co-organize, and things like that. So you're not just participating for the sake of participating, getting a certificate. That is why I have always been harping on the STF students. Make sure that you must have a co-curricular activity. Okay, Do something. If you're not good in sports, then do something else. Okay, organize something. So fortunately for the STF Future Leaders Girls, this year they managed to organize the concert at the Zari Sofia Opera House. Right. Then highlight your achievements and activities. Highlight the high achieving activities. Okay, janganlah represented school in softball at district level and got number 8. That is not an achievement. Your only achievement is representing your school, but it doesn't get you anywhere. So highlight the ones that are really good. You get gold award for robotics, for example, gold, silver, or bronze. This top 3, okay, very good. Okay. Other than that, tak payahlah, tak menarik langsung. And then focus on your education, your extracurricular activities, your volunteer works, like I said just now, organizing things, and skills. Okay, what are the skills that you have? These points show the interviewer how well suited you are for the field of study that you wish to pursue. Okay, and then what not to write in the resume. Do not use unprofessional email address. When you write a resume, always have a professional email address. Janganlah, budak WeChat 86@yahoo.com. It's not professional, and people, when they read that, they know that you're not serious. You're not a serious person. You may be one, but to them you're not. This again, macam Pak Net and Abang Syukri have been saying, it goes back to how you present yourself. So make sure you have a proper email address. Use your name for the email address for them to recognize you as a professional and a serious person. And then do not add in photos other than the passport size photo of yourself at the top of the resume. I see that you flood the whole resume with your photos of you receiving mock check, of you receiving medals at sporting events. These are not necessary. You want to add those, you put that as addendums at the back of your resume. Add that together with your resume, like you're adding a certificate. But do not clutter that resume, because I want to look at an information about you, not how you look like. Okay, I want to see your information. I want to be able to read and pick out and ask you questions. I don't want to see your face grinning at me. And then do not use meaningless or annoying buzzwords such as I'm a go-getter, I'm a future scientist, I'm a great team player, I am very detail-oriented to describe yourself. Why? Because if you oversell yourself and they ask you questions to prove how are you a go-getter, and you can't answer that, that's it. You've just blown your chance. Okay? And then do not clutter your resume with irrelevant info. Keep it mainly white. Okay, janganlah colourful, jadi macam some LGBT rainbow thingy. It has to be easy to look at, and preferably one page. Okay, 2 is the maximum. Okay, keep it 1 page if you can, but 2 is the maximum. Your choice of font must be good. Okay, because some of those interviewers may be close to 60, their eyesight may not be good. Like Pak Net tadi dah banyak dah baca, he's got his eye typos. Okay, so the font must be good. Number 2 is the thing that I would like to emphasize here, your name. Okay, your name must be the one that strikes the attention of the interviewer the most. So it has to be big up there. Okay, next to your professional photo, passport size photo. Right. So that is on the resume writing. Now, if I may share a bit on the whose resume I thought was good. Okay, Faiz Farhan punya resume is good. The content wise is good. Okay, I like this. I like the he's got that okay lah. I hope it's a more professional photo, but that's good enough. Okay, Faiz Farhan, good. You have very good content here. Okay, public speaking camp. Then you explain a bit about what you did at the public speaking camp. You know, your pemimpin rakan sebaya, bestari kebangsaan camp, your kids take over Parlimen Malaysia punya thing. Okay, the skills thing pun good. It describes your honest assessment of yourself. Okay, and then your leadership punya skill kat sini, prefectorial board, you the secretary, you're the president of this, you're the apa ni, PRS Bestari, assistant coordinator, and your awards. Okay, this is good. This is good. Your contents are good, but I don't want to see you, speaking into the mic or smiling, holding a certificate, or your last photo here asking people, what the hell am I doing? Okay, so no, do away with those photos. Okay, I just want this to be clear. Okay, it's nice to have a QR code, your e-profile, but sometimes, you know, I'm an interviewer. I don't have much time to look at e-profiles. What you also need to have, okay, you have one phone number here. Add also a phone number of someone who may be contactable when you are not. Okay, preferably someone in the family. Okay, because like I said, my son missed out on an interview because he kept his phone on silent and I was away from my phone. So if either one of us had been on the phone, then it would have been a different story altogether. So that is what not to write in a resume. Okay. Right. So any questions on your resume before we go to the personal statement? Okay, if not, then I will go to the personal statement. Okay, resume is something that you bring with you during the interview and you offer it to the interviewer. Okay, ini untuk scholarship interviews, but if you're asking for a job, then your resume will go to them before that. Okay, Danish Adha, how do we prove the things we wrote on the CV if there are no pictures? Okay, how do you prove? There are words, you write them down, okay, and you back them up with your certs. How do you prove the things that you wrote on the CV if there are no pictures? You don't put pictures on your CV. Itu je. It's your resume. Okay, you don't put pictures there. You back them up. So that's why I said, you know, if you want to prove using a picture, then it has to be as an addendum at the back of it. Okay, don't edit in your resume. Shukri, any thoughts on that?
You know, if I wanted proof, I would have gone to your Instagram lah, not read your resume. So I think we, as interviewers ni, you know, call it classic or traditional, but I guess the idea of a resume is still putting everything in a very compact punya form so that, you know, although there are words and key points, we'll get the message lah. And normally as someone who has experience looking at resumes juga sikit-sikit ni, especially my interns kan, there has not been any instances where I question what is being put on the resume, but I validate the content too during the interview. And coming back to someone who asked something about vibes just now, if you lie, we can tell that, you know, the vibes is, you know, it's something wrong with the vibe here. Okay.
I like that point about Instagram. Okay, you know, people nowadays, interviewers nowadays, they actually can go through your Instagram although it's private. Okay, they have ways to do it. Normally as employers, for example, or big organizations, you can actually request from Instagram or any other SOCMED punya platform to allow them to have a look before they actually interview you. So if you say that, you know, you are a future great, you know, mechanical engineer, for example, tapi you punya Instagram you semua K-pop, then it shows that, you know, your life is not all about that. You know, your life is just about K-pop. You're more interested in that than you are in mechanical engineering, for example. Okay, here I think, you know, Puan Jasmine is saying here, one thing, if your resume banyak sangat images, your file will be too big, and that is a major pet peeve with most of us. Yes, we hate to download, you know, anything more than 50k. Okay, for example, 50k, I cukup, I tak kira dia orang kata apa, you know, my word file is nothing more than 30k. That's it. Okay, Danish, I hope that answers your question. Anything else on resume before we go on the apa ni? Tak ada ya? Okay, kalau tak ada, then we will go to your personal statement. After personal statement, then we'll take more Q&As before we end the session.
I have some because based on their resume, ada few nak tambah resume.
Tak apa, you tambah later masa Q&A. Yep. Okay, your personal statement. No, tak apa. I will add later. We will talk about it later. Okay, personal statement writing. So why do you need to write a personal statement? Okay, personal statement. Okay, top organizations macam say for example Bank Negara and all that, you know, Yayasan Khazanah, they will usually ask shortlisted candidates to write a personal statement. Siapa yang early harvest akan dapat this request for a personal statement. It's an essay. Okay. So a personal statement is a form of essay that informally reflects the candidate's life in the past, present, and future. This is about you pitching. You are selling yourself to them before you are being interviewed. They like your academic achievements. Now they want to know a bit more about you. Okay, the resume thing is formal. The personal statement is less formal because it allows you to reflect upon your life. Okay, so it is a chance for you to articulate about your personal experience, what skills you possess that show your passion for the field of study of your choice. Okay, so dekat sini lah where you actually talk about, you know, why do you want to study, what motivated you to study that particular thing, and what you can offer to the world, to the organization that's giving you the scholarship, or to the community that you're in. How can you benefit them with that field of study of your choice? Okay. Now, how to write a personal statement? Number one is you have to write about your personality. What makes you unique? Okay, what makes you unique? You unique is not your 9A+. There are hundreds of others who get 9A+. So how do you make a personal statement so that people can be more informed about who you are? Okay. So their personal statement is to provide readers deeper things about yourself that are not in your resume or exam results. For example, just now, someone asked, is it okay for me to talk about my, you know, maybe I come from a poor family, for example, you know, is it okay for me to talk about that in interview? Pak Naj kata generally no, you know, which I agree, unless if you are asked about your family, then only you talk about it. So in interview, that hardly comes by. So you are able to write about it in that personal statement. You can talk about the background of your family, and like Abang Shukri said, you know, you talk about the challenges that you face and how you bounce back from that. So that is the personality that we interviewers want to see. So what information can you give the readers to help them know who you are? Okay, that's personality. Now, secondly, the authenticity. Okay, don't be someone you are not. Okay, be honest and genuine. People can read when you are not. Like Abang Chukri said, that vibe-o-meter. Okay, when you lie, we can see through you. We know because we can see your body language. We can see other signs, your facial expression, where you look at your hands, where do you put your hands. So we know when you're lying or when you're not. Okay. Me especially, you know, with more than 30 years of work experience, then I can see through anything. Okay, write about what you hold dear to your heart. Okay. This is what we call reflective writing. Okay, when you write something about your personal statement, it must come from the heart, and you write about it, not what you think the readers would like to read. You know, you don't want to tailor-make your essay to what the interviewers you think would like to see. No, you write about yourself. Okay, concrete examples also must be given. So you add personal anecdotes and examples. If you say that you are a highly motivated individual, then you describe in writing what that means. Okay, you must show examples of a moment where that motivation has actually helped you achieve something great. Maybe, for example, you know, you're motivated by the fact that your beloved grandmother, for example, passed away from colon cancer, and you're motivated by that to find a cure, maybe an intervention, you know, prenatal intervention, like when, for example, the person is still a fetus, okay, being carried by the mother, and you detect a certain DNA that shows that maybe, you know, in future, that baby will develop colon cancer and you know how to intervene, then that would be great. That would be your motivation. And then your structure. You must structure the essay properly. So it must be in a clear and concise manner. So you must start off, of course, with an introduction. Then you have the body paragraphs. Okay, how many paragraphs? Depending on how many words they want. I think Yayasan Khazanah itu apa? 1,000 plus kan Yayasan Khazanah? Itu. Okay, Yayasan Khazanah 500, Bank Negara 400.
Bank Negara 400 and you have to complete it in 30 minutes.
Bank Negara punya best. 400 words punya essay, you have to complete in 30 minutes from the time you log in. Okay, so that is really a pressure for you to tell a good story about yourself in such a short time, and not more than 500. Okay, so and then you give a conclusion. Here, I see that most of you started off with horribly. Okay, the name given is. Korang ni berpuisi ke apa? You know. I was like, what the hell am I reading? Okay, the name given is, it means this. No, I don't want to know what it means. I want to know who you are. Okay, your personality, not your name. Okay, don't write things like that in the future, please. Okay, you know who you are. Many of you who wrote that. Korang ni apa, copy ke? Okay, and then you must talk about your goals. Make sure that your goals are clear to the reader. Why should they invest you in your future? Okay, I'm going to give this huge chunk of money, you know, like $500,000 a person or $250,000 a person. So why should I want to give it to you? Then you must be able to tell that story. You pitch, you sell yourself, convince them that winning this scholarship will help you, help them, and help the community and the country. Okay, so you must talk about that. You must talk about how will you benefit the community. Macam ada one of apa ni SBPI Jempol punya girls. She clearly said there, you know, in her kampung there are no midwives who are Muslims, and she coming from South Thailand, where it's 80% Muslims, she doesn't have a Muslim midwife there. So she aspired to become a Muslim gynecologist, the first in her community, and she got that scholarship. Okay, she went off to I think it was Jordan. Okay, all right. So that's how you write a personal statement. Now, you must also show enthusiasm, you must show your motivation, you show a bit about your extracurricular activities, I mean, your high achieving ones, and the skills that you have that can be transferred, and what you plan to do in the future based on your field of study if you are given this scholarship. Okay. And then first impressions on everything. Okay, don't try to impress the readers by pretending to be a Mr. or Miss Know-all. And also, please don't try to impress people with the name given is. Okay, they all know you don't know much. So a good personal statement is far better than a pretentious or a witty first line. And then it is about you. It is called a personal statement because it is what it is. It's your personal statement. Don't write things like, I want to take this course because the government recently announced that by the year 2030 it needs 60,000 nanotechnologists. Okay, you should tell why you want to become a nanotechnologist, not why that you want to take it because the government says it needs so much. Okay, so this you must actually practice on writing essays. And it must be your personal. Why it must come from your heart? Because if you don't, for example, if your teacher gives you a standard format on how to write such an essay, kalau you kena tulis later dekat university, your personal statement, jangan jadi macam some students in a university in the UK, okay, 6 Malaysian students actually were asked by their dean to write a personal statement on why do they want to take up this course. And all 6 wrote similar structures, similar points, and they almost got kicked out from the university because they were being accused of plagiarism. Luckily, there was a lecturer in that university who is a Malaysian, and she managed to convince the dean that the way Malaysian students have been taught is through spoon feeding. So when they write something, they have the standard format in their head. Everyone has the same standard format. When they write, the same things will come out. Okay. And then, like your resume, a personal statement is a living document. Save a copy and build on it. Universities, especially those abroad, do ask for a personal statement upon or just after admission. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to move a bit here for a while because I have to, somebody is going to service my aircon. Okay, I'll just continue here. If you look at the photo, you can see a photo of Nurul Fakihah Said. Okay, she was an STF student, SPM 2017, and she was one of only 2 Kijang Mas scholars from Bank Negara Malaysia. The last 2 Kijang Mas. Lepas tu dah tak ada Kijang Mas, only Kijang. Okay. We were told by the interviewers kat Bank Negara, they were very touched by her personal statement. This is a photo of her sitting at this table. I am actually sitting where she was sitting. When she did her personal statement, it was actually here in this house because she doesn't have an internet line at home. She comes from a very disadvantaged family. Okay, I will show you a bit about her, and I will share with you her personal statement. Okay, this is her, Kijang Mas scholar. There were only 2 Kijang Mas scholars. Nurul Fakihah from STF, and also Izzuddin, another great guy from Samsas. Okay.
He's doing medic in Ireland.
He's doing medic in Ireland right now, and Fakihah is in Imperial College. Fakihah is not in Imperial College, London. She just got there, enjoying her coffee now. Okay, I will share with you what she wrote. Okay. Alright. Okay, this is. If you can see, this is Fakihah's personal statement. She wrote this personal statement on my MacBook. So you can see, how she started off. She talked about, the acronym BNM, because this is actually for Bank Negara Malaysia. If you can read, you can see, and there she said there that, of course, she could only read on the notes that have smaller denominations, maknanya like RM1, RM10, RM20, like probably that was the most that she could see those days. And then she talks about, this is where she talks about her problem. Okay, she comes from a disadvantaged family. Okay, the father, I met the father. Father has worked all his life as a kampung labourer. Father even worked as a construction worker here in KL, but went back to the kampung because during a construction activity, he had a bad accident, and that limited his ability to do labourer's job. So he worked in the kampung, and then her mother is a disabled person. She has mobility problems. She can't walk properly without feeling pain. Okay, and father was not doing well in the kampung either, because there's not many jobs for a kampung labourer. And then, after describing her problem, okay, I will tell you what Fakihah does. Every time she goes back home during school holidays, she will work in the same biscuit factory that the mother works in, just to help the father. Okay, just to help the family earn more money. So that's what she does. Okay, kalau cuti 10 hari ke, cuti 2 minggu ke, she will go back to the factory and work with the mother to earn some money. And then she talks about how she bounces back. Okay, despite the great odds, okay, I managed to do very well for my UPSR exams, got accepted into STF, and then she set a vision to excel in studies and co-curricular activities. Okay, she became the president of her sports house, and she became the president of the hockey club. Okay, so that shows her leadership. Despite having all these difficulties, she was able to succeed in become a leader. And then she talks about her aspiration rather. Okay, I dream to help people like my mother to achieve normal mobility and a better quality of life. So she chose to study biomedical engineering. Of course, she didn't get Johns Hopkins because BNM does not send people to Johns Hopkins, but she got Imperial College to do what she wanted. Okay, and she talks a bit about what kind of problems that biomedical engineering students would be able to address, and how she would be able to help people with mobility problems if she gets to become biomedical engineer.
She didn't get biomedical engineering. They offered her something better because she got 3 A-star. Biomedical engineering only need A-star, 1 A-star. So she's doing molecular bioengineering.
There you go. So
they offered her better.
Bank Negara offered her a better. Sorry, Imperial College offered her a better course. apa dia? Bio what?
Molecular bioengineering.
Molecular bioengineering.
She got 3 A star for her A levels.
Okay.
Bioengineering only require 1 A star.
So there you go. That is a story of Fakihah, and that is a story of a personal statement. This is why you have to have a very good personal statement in order to sell yourself to these interviewers. Okay, right. So I finished on the personal statement. I won't go reviewing your personal statements because most of you started off with the name given is. All right, I'm sorry, but I like to be brutal as Pak Brutal, Pak Netch here. Okay, so we have some questions here. Officially, Arif done. Captain, as you said, a person needs a reference number, example, a family member or teacher. How do we choose a good reference that would help us in the interviewing process? For me personally, okay, if, for example, if you want to become a biomedical engineer, okay, then of course your biology teacher would be a good reference. Okay, other than your science subjects. So your science teachers would be a good reference there. And also, of course, your counselor, because your counselor would be the one looking after, I think, so you put counselor and one other teacher. Your HM ke, kadang-kadang HM tak ingat orang sangat tak. Your science teacher would probably remember you if you're good. If you say you're good. Apa ni, Netch or Shukri, anyone else as reference?
Shukri, you want to go first or shall I?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
My mic was on mute.
Okay. Okay. Now, very simple. There's, for me, there's just one yes, yes, and another one no, no. Okay. The yes, yes is just to really emphasize what Captain Rahmat has already mentioned, and that is, if your resume is in English, then make it good English. If your resume is in BM, then make it good BM. Okay, whatever language it is, make sure it is good language. Okay, it doesn't have to be pompous, it doesn't have to be showy, it doesn't have to be apa tu? Oh goodness, what's that other word? Oh my goodness, just slipped my mind. Using words that are can you help me, Shukri?
Bombastic.
Sorry?
Bombastic.
Yes, bombastic. Yes, okay. That's exact. Just slipped my mind. Okay. Don't use bombastic words unless memang that is the perfect word to use to describe something. Okay. We can tell. Okay, if that is the perfect word to describe something, then it's okay. Use it. But if you can use a slightly simpler, normal word, don't go overboard with bombastic words. Okay. Now, there is. I had some other sessions like this where there was a question where a student asked, "My English is not good, but is it honest if I get my teachers or peers or anyone to check through and correct my resume or curriculum vitae?" Very good question. Okay. Now, actually, the answer is yes, it's okay, because there's a reason for this. Now, actually, to us interviewers, okay, if your resume or your curriculum vitae or your personal statement, if it's a type of personal statement where you can write it independently and then you distribute it, if it is done in good English, actually it shows us the other way around. It shows us that you care. You see, it shows us that you take the trouble to get somebody to check it for you. Okay, that's positive. Okay, if you send, it's far worse if you send in a very badly written resume or document, which you say is honest because you wrote it yourself. Okay, it's better to have someone check it and be honest about it. Okay, in the interview, if it's asked, if somebody if an interviewer is brutal enough to ask you, your English is so bad, how come you sent in a document that is so good? Okay, it's okay to answer. I understand. I did get someone to check it for me because I believe that it is important that when it is in written form, I have to make it as best as possible so that those who read it will understand. As simple as that. See, it's very honest. You do get somebody to check it for you because you feel honest enough that it is now in written form. It has to be presentable. Okay? Even though in your interview, mungkin bila bercakap memang berterabur, that's okay. Okay? Because most interviewers, they will look at it positively that you took the trouble to get it done well. Okay, so that's one. And that was the yes. Okay. Now the no is simply something related to what Captain Rahmat said just now. About problems. Okay. One big no is do not try to use your personal statement or similar document to try to get pity. Okay, don't try to get pity in which, or for example, I come from a very poor family. I really need this scholarship. So you write it down in your personal statement. No, unfortunately, that doesn't it doesn't work like that. Okay, as Captain Rahmat said, be honest. You can mention about your background. If you are poor, if your father died early and so you don't have the resources, it's okay, but not in a pity eliciting way. Okay, it's just a statement of fact. The same type of statement of fact about your achievements too. Okay, it's just to convey this is my personal statement. This is how my life has been, and these are my achievements. This is how I overcame the negative things that were in my life. Okay, so no trying to elicit pity, but in fact, or instead, turn it into something positive. Show that even if you came from a poor family, you have overcome it by being very good in your academic, being very good in your co-curricular activities, in your community, helping and so on. And if you are rich, okay, terbalik pula. If you are rich, don't show off that you've been to I don't know how to put it in a more proper way. Don't show off that you have been all over the world unless it really helps to show a particular positive thing that you can bring to the world. Okay, but not just to show off that, wow, you're rich and your father has 3 Lamborghinis or whatever. That's certainly another no. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that helps. Thank you.
Chukri, anything?
It popped out just now about whether one should be focusing on writing about helping the community or just write about strengths and weaknesses. I think Cap and I experienced this a lot during the interviews, and I think what you write on a piece of paper translate into what you actually say during your interviews. Now, the most common non-genuine answers that we have received, and I'm sorry to say this, as Patnach would like to put it, this is being brutally honest. We don't buy, those kind of statements where, I want to become something because I would like to help the community and blah blah blah. And the script is the same, and it's being repeated again and again from one person to the other. And we've seen a very common trend where you feel that if you address the stresses or the need of a mass audience, i.e. the community, you get extra points. And that's not true. If your choice of programs or course really relates to the community, then you can write about helping out the community. But don't let me give you an example. Let's say you want to become an accountant, right? Like yours truly, I'm an accountant. Now, how do you relate being an accountant to helping the community, for example? if you've seen the financial scandals of 1MDB, for example, or the corruption cases or fraudulent cases that is happening in the corporate world, and you want to become an accountant because you would like to protect or safeguard the interests of the public in GLCs, for example, or in the government sector, for example, so that every cent of the taxpayers' money would be able to, you would be able to amplify every cent of the taxpayers' money in ensuring that it goes to the development of the country. Now, that versus I want to become a doctor because I want to help the community, a lot of people are sick. So that is the difference. If you want to write a personal statement, make sure that number one, it relates to what you want to do. And number two, you need to really show some compassion in writing if you want to relate it to the community. Don't just say I want to become a doctor because I want to help everyone. Put something like what Cap said just now, about being the first doctor in your kampung area or something like that. Be more genuine in your personal statements. So to answer your question, there's no right or wrong. You can say that you can write about helping the community, and at the same time, if you have helping your community to put might show a little bit about your strengths and weaknesses. Helping your community might say that you're a good, you're a very compassionate leader, and things like that. You can actually combine the two things together, but be cautious. I would like to caution you here and be very, very careful. And I like to stress, when you write about the community, be genuine. Don't just write about the community because you want the assessors pity, and we don't buy it. We don't buy it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. If Hilmi asks if there will be a period of time where you evaluate the personal statements that we have written. Actually, we have gone through all those personal statements, which is why I'm highlighting again on how to write a personal statement. So the 32 of you have been chosen to nanti Puan Hanazita will be sending an email link or several email links for you to resend your resume and your personal statements. Okay, any other question about the resume writing and personal statements? Anyone from STF ada ke? STF ada lagi?
Ya, itu dia. Ingat there's 32 people. Kalau nak cakap pasal community, make sure.
For the second round of interview, we will be interviewing you, plus there will be online role play. Because we'll be assessing each of you in your group role play.
Macam dah tak ada question dia ni. Actually, how do we know the number of audience yang listening, that are listening to us right now? Tak ada number.
Now 68.
Now 68.
68 people.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It should be 150. STF plus MCKK. It's less than
Wow. All right.
Okay. Any other question? Kalau
Just to mention that my battery is left only 3%, and I can I can be, and I've already run out of my power bank, so I might just drop out at any moment. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, in case I drop out, and I hope that everyone has benefited from the little that I was able to contribute.
Okay. Right.
Take care, Naj.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much, boys and girls, especially all of you from Form 5, Malay College. If you need to ask questions and all that, any other questions, if you're not part of the 32 that have been chosen, those 3 email addresses are there. You can always ask us any question. Okay. Anytime at all. Even you have the SPM ke, you need help in getting clarification, asking questions and all that. Just shoot us any question. We are here to help you anytime. Okay. If there's nothing else, STF girls, 2 p.m. at the link that will be given by Kak Hana. Form 5 boys, thank you again and good luck for your SPM. Those yang 32 tu, be prepared for your group punya interview nanti. Okay, thank you. Okay, Puan Aina, Abang Syukri, Pak Nek lagi sekali, and kembali ke Cikgu Khairul, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you everybody. All the best, boys and girls.